This is the Big O Show. 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 This
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Gotta have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester Palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com. Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Good morning, boys and girls. Yes, sir. We're having a beautiful Wednesday, hump day. Bitcoin is over $29,000. The entire crypto market is absolutely soaring. Man, good mood. Didn't sleep as much, because went to the show last night. And, thanks to Jack, by the way, thank you very much. Thank you for the tickets. My wife loved the concert. It was awesome. Joan Jett was solid. She's all right. She's not where she used to be, but she did all right. But Bryan Adams, my God, that was fun last night. I don't know how many of you were at Hard Rock Live, or those of you around the country or the world where you're watching, where you're downloading the show, any time of day or night, and you're listening to the show. Maybe you've seen already Bryan Adams go through your town on this tour or the last couple of years. Yesterday was the first time I saw Bryan Adams in 30 years. It was I want to say early 90s, the last time I saw Bryan Adams, maybe. Might have been, right? Maybe late 80s, early 90s, something like that. This was my fourth time seeing him, and I saw him, in his early stages of his career. I saw him when he was an absolute nobody in 82, and then I saw him in 83, and then I saw him, I want to say it was like 90 or 91 or maybe 89. I'm not exactly sure, but I know I saw him right around then. That was the last time I saw him. And so I took the wife last night, thanks to Jack, of course. I appreciate you, Jack. Thank you very much. Very kind of you. I guess you weren't going to the show and you didn't want the tickets to get ruined. So I appreciate that immensely, and we enjoyed the hell out of it. And I got to tell you, man, I the clips are on Twitter at Big O Show or Instagram Big O Radio Show. You can always follow me there because usually you'll get a lot of, either news, breaking news, or just sometimes you'll find out about things ahead of time. A lot on Twitter and Instagram. So you should follow me there at Big O Show on Twitter and Big O Radio Show on Instagram. And we've got some of the highlights there for you if you want to check it out. He sounds impeccable. Like his voice is immaculate. It's got the same power. It's got the same sound as he did back in the 80s. That's the other. Those are the things you always worry about. With Joan Jett, in other words, you listen to Joan, and she has the sound, but she doesn't have any more power in her voice anymore. You know what I'm saying? So when she's singing, "Do you want to touch?" Yeah, do you want? She doesn't have that same enthusiasm and power in her voice. I always worry about that for myself. Doing this, and I'm in year 33 of this, and so I always wonder what's the year that I get too old that I don't have the energy to bring it all the time and be emotional, and because you can't do radio monotone. You just can't do it that way because people will not be able to. They just won't be able to hang on. So you've got to bring something to the table, some kind of fire, desire, whatever, you know what I mean? Enthusiasm, whatever it is. Ball of piss and anger or humor or all kinds of ways of making you think, you've got to do something to stir somebody's mind up, right? And as a musician, it's the same thing. It's really hard to just be kind of just a thing on stage that doesn't move and just plays music and just sings, and there's nothing to you. You know what I'm saying? And Adams has a ton of energy. He's got mics in different spots of the stage. His band is excellent. His guitarist is excellent, phenomenal. The drummer's really, really good. I really like the band, actually. I was very impressed with the band and his voice. It sounds exactly like a record. Okay? Just listen to it. It's just awesome to hear when you hear it live and you can hear any mistake or anything like that. And last night that was a real treat, man. So Jack, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. In fact, the next time he comes, if Jack doesn't give me the tickets, I'll probably buy a pair of tickets and take the wife because it was awesome. Hey, I learned something about Bryan Adams that I did not know. The women's love him. Oh, baby, them women's. They was all over that arena. And then you start to go through his music and his catalog, and how many people in the last 40 years have created more ballads than Bryan Adams. All right. And then throughout the concert, he just whips out one ballad after another. And, they're showing camera shots of people all over the arena. And, dude, it is loaded with the ladies. I mean, the ladies are everywhere, and they're standing up and they're singing and all. And this isn't a Cristiano Ronaldo thing. This isn't a Brad Pitt thing. You know what I'm saying? This isn't a George Clooney thing. Like, the women are drooling and like, oh my God, he's gorgeous and all that kind of crap, right? No, this is that they love the fact that this guy creates incredible music. And maybe, I was thinking about it, how many people over the last 40 years have created more ballads and more power ballads than this guy? There aren't. I don't know if there's another person that has more big-time hits than Bryan Adams when it comes to ballads. And that's why the women, because a lot of bands or a lot of artists, they'll have one or two. This guy's got like 7 or 8 or 9. He just whips out, and you're like, holy shit, holy crap. And then you can see, and then the cheering, you can hear the women in the cheering. You know what I mean? It was I got to say, Bryan Adams, you did it right, dude. You did it right. Man, that was pretty damn good. That was an exceptional concert last night by Bryan Adams and his band. His band was excellent, dude. Excellent. Wow, that was just so good last night. Duck Dog says, saw Bryan Adams, 82, the Bottom Line Bar, Manhattan, SRV, warmed up. Yeah, I saw him in 82 also at the Rock Super Bowl. When he was absolute no, I didn't even know who Bryan Adams was because this was before Cuts Like a Knife. He didn't have any hits or anything. He was an absolute nobody, like nobody. Then he came back a year and a half later on the Journey Frontiers tour, and it was Journey, Sammy Hagar, Aerosmith, because Aerosmith at that point was at its lowest point. Run DMC had not resurrected their career yet. Okay? So they were the second to last act. They were the second act, and then Bryan Adams. So Bryan Adams had Cuts Like a Knife, and he opened up for Aerosmith. But at that time, Aerosmith was actually, they had Rocks out, and Rocks is not really known as one of Aerosmith's, better albums or anything. But When the Lightning Strikes is in that album, and that happens to be my favorite Aerosmith. In Aerosmith's lowest point ever, they created my favorite song of theirs, When the Lightning Strikes. I think I love that song. Anyway, so yeah, and Bryan opened up and at that point everybody knew, Cuts Like a Knife and all that kind of stuff. He played three songs from that album. Take Me Back, Run With You, and Cuts Like a Knife from that album. But that was good, man. That was really, really, really good. Matthew Owen says, Big O, I like your videos you post of the concerts. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Giovanni says, Bryan Adams' voice being as scratchy helps the longevity maybe as well. I'm you know what? I think, Giovanni, it's up to you. Did you take care of your voice? Were you, doing all kinds of alcohol and cocaine? And, it all depends, too. Although you listen to Steven Tyler, and that guy's been on drugs and alcohol forever, and he still sounds pretty good. Sometimes it's also genes, Ragin says, I never wanted to hear Bryan Adams after the 80s, especially Summer of 69, but Buck Cherry did a great cover of that song. Bryan Adams is amazing, bro. He's a treasure. He's a Hall of Famer. If you haven't seen him, Ragin, I suggest you go to one of his shows. You'll love it. NorCal is in. Marco Shark Fin in. All right. Mako Shark, that is. Anthony says, Big O, since your podcast in your man cave, do you watch live sports, Dolphins, Heat, Marlins, etc. in the man cave or in the family room? Actually, I watch it in the living room. The man cave's been kind of retired, actually. Yep, I retired the man cave. Let's see. Oh, it's Rockin' a Hard Place for Lightning. Okay, well, then that's the one. But that's the low point of their Rockin' a Hard Place, Rocks. That's like at the point when nobody wanted to hear from Aerosmith, which was kind of crazy, right? That's kind of screwed up. Rosendo says, good Wednesday morning, Big O Nation. Blessings be upon you today as you embrace the halfway point of the week and take a moment to reflect on all that you have to be grateful for. Keep the faith. Thank you. Thank you, Rosendo. I have to be grateful that Jack was very kind to offer his tickets yesterday for Bryan Adams. That was very nice. Something I did not plan to do last night, and it was excellent, man. It was really, really, really good. Brian Walters in, Big O and Sean, everyone smash the like button. We have a situation now with Tyreek. I hope he does not get suspended. Doesn't look like it. We'll get into it in a few minutes. I'm not in a hurry to talk about that silliness. What else do we have on the chat board? Relentless is in from Madrid. Love it. Love to see where you guys are watching the show from anywhere in the world. Frankie Fresco, AEW Wednesday. The Hardys versus the Guns. Who you got? Well, I got to tell you something. You know, some of my favorite memories back in the day when I lived in Hialeah was hanging out at Hardee's, okay, on 49th Street, and I believe it is 12th Avenue, right across from Gus Machado Ford. And it's no longer there, unfortunately, which is an absolute crime, you know. And plus, Hardee's had a nice big old parking lot. Speaking of Bryan Adams and concerts, after concerts at the Hollywood Sportatorium or at the Sunrise Musical Theater, right? Or anywhere else we kind of went to a show, we would all end up meeting, those of us that were rockers in Hialeah back in the day, we would end up meeting there at Hardee's all the time. That was kind of like 49th Street back in the 80s. See, I don't know how they do it nowadays, but it was rocking till like 1 or 2 in the morning. Whether it was the car wash, a couple blocks north of that Hardee's, people used to hang out there. The Denny's across the street was the other place that was kind of a big old hangout after you went to a club, after you went to a concert, a party, whatever. 49th Street kind of became a hangout for people in Hialeah. I think we got the HML people also coming over because really it's the only place that was kind of lively, you know, at that time. So if you went later on at night, you could go through the Taco Bell, the Hardee's, hang out at the car wash, crank your music up, go to Denny's. So, you know, 49th Street had kind of a little bit of a I don't know, a little hangout type of thing on weekends, on Fridays and Saturdays. Those of you from Hialeah back in the day, you know what the hell I'm talking about. So long story short, I got great memories of Hardee's and hanging out with friends and having a good time and enjoying the Hardee's burgers, which I still, every chance, whenever I travel and I run into a Hardee's, I stop by and have a burger just out of, you know, the pure, amazing memories of those days, you know, back in high school and having those freedoms that we don't have anymore. But so I'm gonna, in honor of Hardee's and those great memories, you know, I am gonna go with the Hardee's against the Guns because, you know, the Guns sound very intimidating, but they will get disarmed tonight by the Hardy Boys. Okay, so this is part of my investigation. This is what I've concluded after this investigation. I'm going with the Hardy Boys. Okay. Another old reference for you. So, the Hardys. Well, I got 2 thumbs up from Sean. Wow. Well, Sean, when we're on the road and we run into a Hardee's, for those 2 thumbs up, I'm going to buy you a double at Hardee's. Okay? Whenever we run into a Hardee's. Just so you'll know. Tua Time says, great Squared Circle Digest last night, Sean and Frankie. That Seth versus Braun match on NXT was pretty solid. I did not catch you guys yesterday, unfortunately. Apologies. I was a little busy last night, rocking and rolling. You know what I'm saying? So don't forget, folks, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show at Cash App or Venmo. Giovanni says Denny's was the place on 49th Street after concerts. Yeah, that was one of them for sure. For sure. Although I used to use Denny's a lot more after clubbing. Concerts, it was probably more our group would hang out at Hardee's. We'd all park and crank up the tunes and crank up the cars. And, back in those days, again, that was the other thing that was needed, right? There were a bunch of cars that had like great sound systems. So the music was always blasting in Hialeah. That was those were days, man. Those were days. Those were I gotta say, Hialeah High was as big a party school as I think any high school could possibly be in the entire country. That's I can only talk about 82 to 85. That's all I can talk about. I can't represent anything else for any other school or any other part of Hialeah High's experience, because it may not even be close to what, now to what it was back in our day. Okay. Back in our day it was awesome. We had several rock bands, local rock bands like Hammerhead and stuff like that. And we would have pool parties at different houses where where a stage was set up right by the pool and bands would be jamming live and we'd be having a pool party. And Hialeah High was like, I'm telling you, I don't think there are a lot of high schools that had the kind of party atmosphere that Hialeah High had. I swear to you. And that was a lot of fun. I had no bad fun, but I had too much fun at Hialeah. Oh, but it was good. It was very good. Thoughts on Portland going after Bam Adebayo, and how does Portland acquiring Paul George or Zion affect Heat's chances of landing Lillard? D-Laz, I think you're way ahead of yourself right now. None of this is have they made an offer yet for Bam? No. Do you think the Heat are going to trade Bam? No. So it's not really something that you should worry about, my brother. I just don't see any of that, and I don't care about Paul George or Zion. That's for sure. I'm hoping, I hope that they want to acquire Paul George or Zion. What I don't want to hear ever is the Miami Heat involved in any of that. And I'll tell you why they're probably not going to be involved in most of that stuff. Anyways, I'll explain. We'll go through a couple of Riley's. The press conference really was kind of lame. Considering most Riley press conferences, very lame. But there were two things that I do want to elaborate on and decipher and explain what the message is from that, because you can interpret it in different ways. But I'm going to tell you how I interpret it and what I think is going to end up happening. Favorite part of Hialeah is you get your cafecito or colada, the rooster just walking by. How you know it's authentic Cuban coffee. That's it, baby. GP Trap likes the Hardee's ham and cheese. Right. We all know the NFL will do their best to screw the Dolphins. Nah, it has nothing to do with that. Bro dude smoking in the boys' room. Let's see. Actually, in Hialeah, they just smoked outside on the sidewalk. Thanks for those clips from last night's show, Big O. I graduated from Miami Norland Senior High School in '85, and those songs brought me back great memories. Yes, sir, for all of us. What else? CJ McCollum said that he's been working out with Zion and he's in tremendous shape and motivated. Yeah, that's that doesn't mean shit, dude. And by the way, Zion Williamson has zero credibility. Anybody that believes Zion, including CJ McCollum, you're a freaking idiot. You're a moron. You're a sucker. I got a bridge down in the Keys to sell you. So I'm not exactly sure who was it? Tua time? You're thinking, Tua. There ain't nothing to trust about Zion Williamson. Until Fat Boy fat ass, okay, fat slob, lazy ass Zion, okay? And I can make all the fat jokes I want because I'm fat. All right? So I can fat shame all I want, every bit of it. And guess what? I don't work for a corporation. So if your feelings are hurt, too bad. Look in the mirror and admit it. Because I know I do. So anybody that believes Zion Williamson, you're a moron. What can you believe about Zion? Nothing. The only thing you can believe about Zion is that he's a lazy, fat ass. A soft, lazy, fat ass that happens to have a world of talent. And that's the only reason why he gets all these breaks and why they're tolerating it. Because they're hoping that that lazy, sorry, fat piece of crap actually wakes up and actually starts working and playing to his abilities and his talent. But the sad part is you can't trust that lazy, fat piece of shit named Zion Williamson. So when he wants to grow up and become a man, actually, and live up to his responsibilities, they gave him a contract by accomplishing nothing. That says everything you need to know about the system and about society and everything else. This is why, I'll talk about it later. But, Deion Sanders, this reminds me of Deion Sanders. Deion says, nah, no shot I'll be an NFL coach. I got too much old school in me. And I'll address that later on the show. But it's funny because that's exactly what's wrong with this kid. And he is a kid. He's a punk. He's nothing, dude. He's just absolutely, he's as important as the shit that's under my shoe, basically. Okay? He's nothing but a walking embarrassment. So until his fat ass stops being lazy and rounding the drive-through on a consistent basis, okay, if he wants to be a talk show host, then he can do all of those things. But if he wants to be a basketball player and if he wants to represent an organization, stop sleeping and impregnating skanks, stop going through the drive-through, commit yourself to a sport that, by the way, is paying you to accomplish nothing, which you've given him no motivation. So this guy, unless he gets tired of everybody talking about what a loser he is, meanwhile, he's cashing in $200 million no matter what, because society rewards losers like Kyrie Irving, like Zion Williamson. So to believe Zion Williamson to a time, brother, you are a sucker. You and CJ McCollum are a bunch of suckers. Because I've heard this story over and over and over again. And that piece of crap doesn't deserve any kind of understanding, any kind of anything. He's garbage. So until he wants to actually grow up and stop being a fat ass, lazy punk, then maybe we can believe him. But I get it, bro. You're a Pelicans fan. So, what we say, we'll give you what you deserve.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
Actually, to a time, it's not so much that I hate Zion's lazy, sorry piece of crap ass, since the Lord gave him all these talent and he's wasted it completely. The highlight of his career is watching a shoe explode. But what I get a rise out of is people that are dumb enough to believe Zion Williamson. Okay? And that's, you are just like those Miami fans with Mike White and Teddy Bridgewater and and Dalvin Cook and anyone else that happens to be a Miami player that, that's the greatest thing since sliced bread. We have to have them, or if not, we're not going to win another game or some shit like that. That's what it sounded like. So, if you want to be a sucker, you can go ahead and be a sucker. But Zion Williamson cannot be believed until he actually proves something. Talk is way cheap for that guy. We're way past talk already. All right? We'll see if that slob ever actually wants to really commit himself to being a real professional. So check back with me when the slob actually plays for, 2 straight years, injury-free, playing at a high level, actually sacrificing for his team, maybe even playing through a couple of nicks and knacks, a couple of injuries and that stuff. When he does that for a couple of years, not a week or a month or even one season, when he does it for 2 straight years, then check back with me and then say, you see, he turned the corner. So come on, man. It's the saddest thing is to believe a consistent liar. You know what I'm saying? It gets to a point when somebody's constantly lying and never really coming up with their living up to their abilities. You can't just, that's as blind ass a fan move as I've seen. I wouldn't call CJ McCollum a sucker, Big O. Put a little respect on that name there. No, I call him a sucker. If you believe Zion Williamson, Lenny, I don't give a shit who you are, Lenny. I don't care if it's you, Lenny, or your parents, or your wife, or your sister, or my sister, or my wife, or my family, or the president of the United States, or the president of Zimbabwe, or whatever. Anyone that believes anything that Zion Williamson says, you're a clown. Okay? So CJ McCollum is doing nothing but pumping up his own teammate. What else is he going to do? Crap on the teammate? No, not going to do that. So they're going to talk up the teammate because that's what they do in today's world. And plus, as soft and weak and mentally soft as Zion Williamson is, he probably can't handle criticism. He'll probably go in a corner and cry and eat, a whole bunch of jelly beans. So, yeah. There's it has nothing to do with CJ McCollum's talent and player and professionalism. We all know CJ McCollum's a stud. He's a fantastic player. But right now, at this moment, he's just a sucker spreading lies right now about Zion Williamson. That's it. Anyway, not the president of the United States. Say it ain't so, Big O. Oh, well, he's stupid enough to... No. Definitely the president is stupid. He's stupid enough to believe Zion Williamson. Definitely. And last time I checked, I think Hunter Biden and Zion Williamson looks to me like they party with the same kind of women. They both make videos and take pictures too. So I would not be surprised soon to see a Hunter Zion Williamson video. 2 guys going after skanky hoes. Could be. It might be a reality show soon. Yeah. Zion and Hunter hit the streets. I can see that. I mean, think about it. That's those are 2 guys that I'm telling you, they kind of walk in the same circles. Oh, if you become a billionaire, please don't spend $250,000 for a submarine trip to a rusty, sunken ship in murky waters at the bottom of the ocean in a sardine can. I know it's, yeah. Apparently they keep hearing knocks, right? And then they heard another one an hour later, so they still think that they might be alive. But brother, it's You know what it reminds me of? Dougie Fresh, you're old enough. Some of you are old enough for this, and you're going to laugh. So you're reading your comic book. Well, those if you read comic books. And then at the end of the comic book, okay, you could buy seahorses, right? You could buy all kinds of different funky things. And there was also the 2-man sub. You remember that? The 2-man sub that you could buy, right? And that's what I'm thinking, that they bought the 2-man sub off a comic book from 1978. And that's the sub that they went down on. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can think of right there. When I keep hearing about this, I keep thinking about the submarine I could have gotten outside of in a comic strip or comic book. We're looking for great artists. Paint this turtle and everything, and you could win this much, and all those things. You remember all that stuff? Those of you that are old enough. I mean, I listen, I hope they find the people and everything, but, you know, as I've told you before many times over, I don't have sympathy for stupidity. Like I know that 2-man sub when I was a kid was not real, so I'm not ordering it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, it's too funny. It's too funny. The lack of common sense in this world at times is just. Zion needs to lay off the Hardys. No, I think he does worse than that. I think he hits the Dairy Queen drive-through, and he probably, if he actually ate the same hot dog I did, he would actually lose weight because he'd be throwing up for days. I saw a tweet saying that the Bulls are taking calls on Zach LaVine. Is he a better option than Bradley Beal, and how much does he make the team better? D-Laz, I'm going to address all of that when I talk about Riley's comments soon. So just hang in there. Give me a couple minutes. Two a time. Thank you for the love on the super chat. He says, I keep receipts like you. You can keep other. I'm not worried about it, bro. I'm here every day, dude. Every day. I don't have to run and hide like most people after they say one thing or the other. You know what I'm saying? I mean, where are all the people that were saying I was an idiot about Flo getting fired during a streak? Did they come back? No, dude, they disappeared. Now, if Flo wouldn't have gotten fired, they would have come after me, right? And then when I was saying, hey, you got to trade Huberdeau for another star because you can't be led by Barkov and Huberdeau, people were saying, you're crazy. And then they go and trade Huberdeau. Did they come back to a time? No, they didn't, bro. Months before it ever happened, before anybody would even think about saying it because they don't have the balls to say it. I said, you got to fire Dale Talent. Oh, my God, how are you going to fire the guy that built up Chicago? He found us Ekblad and Barkov and Huberdeau. And guess what? They finally fired him months later after I mentioned it. Did anybody, they were jamming me. Oh, how dare you say fire Dale Talent? And then I told everybody, hey, Dalvin Cook, not going to get money, bro. Miami's not trading for him, not going to get money. Lots of people told me, oh, you're crazy. Dalvin Cook's standing out there to a time. Nobody came back at me. I wonder why, bro. But I'm here. And I say all this edgy shit before anybody else. So, my brother, you can take all the receipts you want. I cash them all in, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? I cash them all in. So you can take the receipts and everything. But if you watch the show over the years, you're going to notice there's a trend on the things that we do and we say on this show. Right? And we go against the grain because we don't follow all of the zombies. So take all the receipts you want, bro. I'm always here. Always. Guaranteed, always here, man. I think I wrote in The Athletic an article a column in The Athletic, said it on QAM many times, said it on Sirius Radio many times, a year and a half before it even happened. Said fire Tannenbaum and Gase and hire Chris Greer. People were freaking out. Oh, no, Chris Greer has been in the organization. You can't hire him. Well, they hired him. Holy shit, where were all those people that were jamming on me? Yeah, take receipts, bro. Take receipts. It's going to pay off for you on this show. If you jump in a homemade sub using remote controls bought at Target, you risk your life. Yeah, that's probably true. Yep, CJ's just sticking up for a teammate. It's what he has to do. You hit the nail on the head, Big O. Of course. Of course, he's doing the right thing. CJ McCollum's a stud, bro. He's a terrific player, man. He's a guy you can count on. That's a pro, CJ McCollum. On and off the court, by the way. Do you think those people on the submarine will be refunded their $250K if they're found alive? I don't know, Adam, but I know this. The one we could have gotten in the cartoon, in the comic book ad, it didn't cost us $250K. By the way, does anybody have a classic cartoon, comic book that has the ad in the back that they can take a picture and send it to us, send it to our Twitter feed or something like that? That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Can somebody find that ad? Search for it. Come on, Sean. Search for two-man submarine ad comic strip. Did you ever see that? Do you know what I'm talking about, Sean? You do? Oh, okay. All right. Red says, I was hung up on those x-ray glasses. I talked myself into believing they were real. LOL. That's right. X-ray glasses. I remember that too. That is awesome. That's a great memory, dude. Great memory. That's fantastic. Tua Time says, it will. I'll call you out when you are wrong. No. I want to see you call yourself out when you're wrong. I call myself out when I'm wrong all the time and when I'm right. All the time. I'll tell you when I'm wrong. So I'm not worried about that. I get more impressed when some of you out there come forward and admit you're wrong. Like on a lot of those things that I just threw out there. Like all the Dalvin Cook guys. That's super fresh. Super fresh to a time. There's 186 people on the chat board. Guaranteed there's at least 30 of you that said, oh, no, the Dolphins have to sign him right away. They have to sign him right away. That's it right there. The Polaris nuclear sub. See? You see, over 7 feet long. It fires rockets and torpedoes. All right? It's big enough for 2 kids, and it's only $6.98. Why would you spend $250,000 to go down in the depths when you can get the Polaris nuclear sub for only 7 foot long? Dude, you're paying less than $1 a foot. That's a sub. That's a sub right there. $6.98 for that Polaris sub. Look at that, baby. That was in the back of our cartoon, or our comic strips, our comic books. That was awesome. Did anybody ever order it? Did you really order? Because I had never ordered it. I never believed it. It was like, come on, get out of here. You know, it's like, even as a kid, I could tell you, hey, what the hell is that picture there? Wow. That's a, oh, I see. I have it focused up too much. Okay, there we go. Now it's back to normal. Okay. So anyway, I never ordered it because I never believed it. I never believed in the seahorses. I never believed in the x-ray glasses. Keep this video when he balls out. I want an apology on this show, Big O. Sure, you'll get your apology, my brother. Thank you for the super chat. No problem. You'll get your apology. Like I said, 2 years. No fan shit. I don't want to hear about playing well for a week or a month or even 1 year. 2 years. 2 years. 2 straight years. Show me that you could do it for 2 straight years. Then I know you broke through and you're actually doing it right. When he does that, check back with me. So we'll check back with me in a while. And then we'll find out. I know Jasmine is up a ton. So yeah, it's funny. Jasmine is up right now 10.6%. It's been up over 11%, but it's up to 42, where it was down all the way to 33. It was funny because I tweeted out that Jasmine was up, and a listener tweets back to me, I got it at 50. All right, at 0.0050, which is what is it, 5,000th of a penny, but it went all the way down to 33,000th of a penny, right? And I didn't really answer him back because it's kind of, I appreciate him in a way, he probably solely invested in Jasmine because of me, not because he actually did his homework. And this is one of the things that I tell you guys all the time. I may tell you about something, but you have to go and do your own homework so you can find out about it and all that. Because, see, I could tell he never did his homework and he just bought some because I bought some and I was talking about it. But in the end, when you believe in something, right, then if you're going to invest, like where he made a mistake was what? He bought at 50, he said. Did he buy at 45? Did he buy at 42? Did he buy at 40? Did he buy at 37? Did he buy at 36? Did he buy at 35? Did he buy at 34? Did he buy at 33? No, he didn't. And so when you do your homework and you believe in something, that's what I did. I bought more and more and more as it got cheaper because I believed in it. So now that's at 42, I'm already in profit because of my prior investments and lowering my overall price under 40 and bringing it down to an average of 36. So I'm already in profit. The first time I bought Jasmine, 66. He bought it at 50. I bought it at 66. The first time I ever found out about Jasmine, I bought a little bit at 66. And then I started to find out more. And then as the dip came, what do I always tell you guys? Buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. So, I got a buddy of mine that invested in crypto. And he bought some, but he bought some during the bull run over a year and a half ago. So he got let's say his Bitcoin somewhere in the 45, 55 range. It went all the way down to 16.5. Do you know what he's done in the last year and a half? So he has to wait till the bull run starts and it meets where he was at and then goes to all-time highs for him to start making profit. He never bought more Cardano at lower prices to lower his overall average, bought more Bitcoin to lower his overall average, bought more Ethereum to lower his overall average. The first time I bought Ethereum was at 1,600. Okay? I won't buy Ethereum anywhere past 1,600 anymore. But why? Because I bought it all the way down at 900. And as it was going lower and lower, I kept buying more and more. So I lowered my overall price for Ethereum down to 1,000. I think it's like 1,060 or something like that. And it's at 1,800. So I'm in profits already. That's how you invest. Once you believe, if you truly believe in it, then what your quest is to lower your overall price. And once you've lowered your overall price to where you're at, now you have a bigger chance to enjoy profits. But it's very important that you do your homework, and then whatever it is you believe in, from Litecoin to Bitcoin to Polygon to whatever it is that you're into, man, God bless you. Whatever it is that you like and you invest. But your idea as an investor is always to try to lower your overall number. You know, when Tesla was down at $105, what did I tell you guys? This is the time. Get in there. Buy as much as you can. Went up to over 200. Boom. You know, these, you have to figure out when is the time to get in. Okay? I told you guys Messi was coming. I told my friend, and I told all of you out there, you got a chance, go buy season tickets, because the second half of the season, you're going to make so much money off those tickets that you're going to be able to pay for those. You're going to pay for those season tickets 20-fold by the time it's all done. Tickets are going for thousands of dollars for Messi. You know, you got to know when to invest. During the season, what did we tell you with the Heat? They were giving too many points. Take the opponent. Didn't we tell you over and over and over again, easy money? Then when the playoffs rolled around, they were giving the Heat too many points, and I told you, take the Heat. So we're taking. Investments are about looking at when to jump in, at what point, and to give yourself an advantage. So you've got to figure out a way on how to give yourself an advantage. And that guy entering at 50, or my buddy investing in Bitcoin at 45 or 50, okay, that's fine. But what did you do when you had opportunities at lower prices? You panicked. Instead, you were afraid to invest more because you really didn't do your homework. You really don't really believe in it. So now you missed out on your opportunity to really maximize your investment. Investments take balls. They take guts. It takes guts to say, yeah, I'm going to buy season tickets because Messi's coming, when you don't know if Messi's really coming. Anyway, I'm just saying, it takes guts when you see Tesla's stock dropping to $105 and you're like, holy crap, dude, it's Tesla. They're going to bounce back, and they're going to bounce back stronger than ever, and you're going to make tons of cash. And this is what we talk to you about all the time on the show. And by the way, too, Tom, are you taking receipts on all that too also? Not just the sports predictions, but the financial predictions too. Sports betting, stocks, crypto. I'm not, you know, I don't know. You taking stock, you taking that too? You taking receipts? Anyway, so be mindful. If you're going to invest, then do it the right way so you can maximize your money. And now you're not sitting there like one guy waiting for Jasmine to start getting to 51. See, Jasmine's at 42, 43 right now, and he's at 50. What do you think he should be doing right now? Exactly. And is he buying? No, he's probably not. He's still stuck at 50. Just like my buddy who bought his Bitcoin and never bought it at 16.5 and 20 and 25, and it's been in the 20s, stuck there for several weeks now, and he's at 50. He could have lowered it drastically, and he doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So that's part that's how you have to look at investments. It's about timing, it's about understanding the market, it's about doing your homework, and then learning how to maximize your investment. And if you don't do that, you're really swimming upstream like our friend at 50 and my buddy with expensive Bitcoin, and he'll make profits. Both guys will end up making profits, but it's a longer road for them. And they're not going to make as much profits as the person that was aggressive buying it all the way down. You know, dollar cost average is the best way to invest. It will always be the best way to invest because it's impossible to time the top or the bottom of anything. Anybody that tells you they're able to do that all the time, sometimes you can guess it, like I did with Tesla. And I told you, man, you got to take advantage right here. Sometimes you're not going to be able to do it, but you got to have some guts. Guts like a thief, dude. You just have to. You have to have conviction. And, you know, I know our government and Gensler has done a really good job of scaring the average person. Anyway, what is problem is people get FOMO and buy when it's all-time highs and sell when it drops 50%. You need to have diamond hands. Red, you get it, baby. You get it. Ed Oliver has been arrested Well, Isaiah, what was the safety? Oh, it was the Patriots. Okay, so hey, we got so we need a jet now to get arrested, right? Well,
It's
Tyreek
not.
didn't get arrested. So Tyreek's in trouble with the cops. The Patriot guy's in trouble with the cops, and now you say Ed Oliver? What are you going to tell me there, Sean?
No, Marcel came out and retweeted. I guess Dov Kleiman reported 17 NFL players reportedly been arrested on gun charges since March of 2020. Ed Oliver was in it. Marcel then quote tweeted it and said, "Irresponsible reporting here. Ed Oliver was arrested for driving while intoxicated, plus unlawful possession of a firearm. The charges were dropped when he passed the drug alcohol screening. Only illegal to have a gun in the car if driving while intoxicated. Weapons charge was also dropped."
Okay. Yeah,
So
typical.
but he's on the report because I guess they're going through some database. Albert Breer came back on and said, Dov Kleiman said back then and says, to his defense, Albert Breer was going off USA Today's NFL arrest database when he mentioned Ed Oliver. Ed was officially arrested on gun charges, so they had him listed. But yes, later on the charges was dropped. Definitely worth adding.
Yeah, it's just that make it juicy, bro. Like we tell you all the time, and we got to bust these people when they do it, you know. And it's just a bunch of crap to make things a little bit more sensationalistic to get you guys to read or watch and give us our page clicks and all that. I hate that shit, dude. I hate that shit. Really do. Sean, did you guys talk about Riley's press conference? Not yet, Herman. I have not talked about it. I'm going to talk about it at the top of the hour, okay? Chosen will make this team, I'm sure. He's got a shot. A little early, but we'll see. We'll see, and let's give it some time. Let's see how he handles everything. Shout out to Marcel. He won around the horn yesterday. Did he? You know, I did not watch it yesterday. I gotta admit, I did not watch it yesterday. I have it recorded, but I did not watch it. Big O, it's like you say, lazy reporting. Not just lazy, but also click driven. You know what I mean? It's clickbait shit that they try all the time, and they're on purpose they're doing it. You know. Oh, how are you feeling about your chances of getting Dame? Do we have a realistic trade package? I think they do. I think they do, and I don't think Dame is going to go to too many places. So if he wants out, he's going to want to go to certain places, and they're going to send him to the right place, you know, as long as they get a decent package back. So I think Miami will have the package for it. I believe that. I truly do. By the way, Welton Rayom, proud sponsor. When we tell you about just a law office that knows how to get it done, please call Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom, 954-966-4646. We got thunderstorms every afternoon now. So we got rain, and if there's water damage in your condo, water damage in your home, before you call the insurance companies, I want you to call Welton Rayom like we did, because Progressive was giving us the runaround, and Welton Rayom crushed them, dude. Crushed them. And got it done quickly, by the way. That's the other thing. Got it done really fast. They can help you out. They have their own adjusters. So they can challenge anything and everything these crappy insurance companies come up with. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. You had some kind of an accident. Please give them a ring. Tell them that Big O sent you. Jeff Welt is amazing. 954-966-4646. Daniel Rayom is a pit bull. He's also a stunt pilot, too, by the way. Seriously, he's got a stunt plane and everything. The dude is just amazing. But W.R. Welton Rayom, FLA law.com is the website. The number, anywhere you are, you can call him. You don't even need to go in. Consultation's free. 954-966-4646. You could probably do everything by phone and just go in and pick up a check. Pretty easy, right? 954-966-4646 for Welt and Rayom. Okay. Let's see. Do you think Pat Riley was bluffing or just pumping up the value of Tyler Hero? I think he's going to eventually deal him for either Rooster, Lillard, or see who? Doo-doos. Dodo. I don't know what that. I don't know what that is. I don't know what player does he mean, because it's obviously misspelled. No idea. Scotty Saylor. Hey, Thaler. Trade Bam to Portland for the third pick and Nurkic. What do you think? No. What do you think the reports? I already talked about those yesterday. I don't think it means anything. The Heat aren't trading Bam, dude. They need Bam. They need to get a star, is what they need to get. They don't need to take anything away except for bad salaries. Bam's salary is fine, dude. Okay? He's not a star, but he's a freaking super role player. You need a guy like that. What you need is a star next to Jimmy, and then you've got a shot. And you got to get rid of the deadbeat salaries. And I'll explain something about all of that. I'm finally getting rain here in the mountains of North Carolina. Needed it. Nice. True Fin Fan, thank you for the love in the super chat. Is it okay if I go hang with you guys tomorrow? Hell yeah, bro. Come on over. I keep telling you, if you guys would make the Hialeah Park broadcast like a sport, it is a sports bar anyways. They got food. They got lovely ladies there serving you drinks and food. I swear to you, we gave away lighters and tickets and all kinds of shit to in our pre and post game shows, canes and all that last year at walk-ons. I promise you that if you guys actually make it an event and you guys, several of you come on over, there's all kinds of tables, man. I could even have an open mic that I can turn on so you guys can ask questions if you want, while you're there. So all of those things are available to you. But if you make it an event, then I'll make it, worthy also, and I'll bring some prizes, and we'll have some fun. Thursdays, man, 3:00 in the afternoon. Come on over. So yeah, True Fin Fan, come on over. Appreciate it. It would be really cool. I've always wanted to make that something. And plus, it's a cool place. You got all the gaming action downstairs. We're upstairs in the poker room. You can gamble any of the races, all that kind of stuff. So, it's all good. Did you? No, you didn't miss my thoughts on Riley's press conference. I will talk about it here in the 11 o'clock hour. We also are going to talk to the one and only Matt Verderame from Sports Illustrated. Hour number 2 is next.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Wait a minute. There we go. All right. How you feeling, my man? You feeling good?
I'm good. Not in New York, so the background is going to keep changing for the next few weeks as I move around. But it's good. Getting a little summertime in before Sports Illustrated owns me to no end until next May. So get a little relaxation for camp.
Okay, you'll be traveling a lot?
Yeah, so I drove out to New York with my oldest daughter, who's 5. I drove out on Saturday. So it's a nice 13-hour trip. Made it out here, and we'll be mostly here for the next month. I'll spend a week up in Connecticut, but yeah, it's East Coast time until training camp. Then that's it. Then it's all football all the way till about May 1st.
I'm sure you heard and you've experienced in the past. Tyreek Hill apparently had some kind of a run-in with someone at a charter company employee. Now, the guy's not suing and the guy's not pressing charges, so I don't think much is going to come from this. But he has had his share of stuff from, Oklahoma State, and even when he was in a Chiefs uniform.
Yes. I mean, look, his history, I'm sure most people are extremely aware of it, but he had to transfer out of Oklahoma State to West Alabama. He had a situation at Oklahoma State which involved he and, at the time, his pregnant girlfriend, and there was an allegation that he struck his pregnant girlfriend, and he eventually pleaded that out. And so he went to West Alabama, became a 5th-round pick in Kansas City. And with the Chiefs, it was right before the 2019 season. In fact, it was like days before the draft, maybe even the day before the draft, where allegations came out that he harmed his 3-year-old son or 3-year-old son at the time. Nothing ever came of that legally. There was an investigation into it. Nothing came of it. He was not suspended for it. But that was a big reason that the Chiefs at the time drafted McCole Hardman, because there was a thought that, well, who knows what's going to happen. There were a lot of people who thought that he would never play in a Chiefs uniform after those allegations came out. Of course, it ended up not being the case. He ended up playing 3 more years there, and they won the ensuing Super Bowl. As far as this allegation, you teed it up well. TMZ Sports reported last night. Look, we're going to have to wait and see how everything plays out. But it's one of those things where you look at it and say, why? Like, why even be in the situation? Now, maybe nothing comes of it, as you point out, and it very well could be the case. But yeah, it's unfortunate that Tyreek Hill is back in the headlines in a way that people are going to look and go, well, what happened here? And I'm sure that'll be the reaction by most.
Yeah, and in the end, I think what people are going to say is, even if he's not found guilty here and he hasn't been found guilty in the other one and in the other one, and then you're like, there's a lot of smoke. Where's the fire? You know what I mean? And so, sometimes it can be a coincidence, and then sometimes maybe it's not a coincidence anymore. And that's kind of what I think people will be thinking about with Tyreek Hill in this situation.
Well, and that's, look, I think realistically, that's going to be the thing that people look at and say, again, what happened in this situation? Is Tyreek Hill completely innocent? Is there more to this story? Because again, so look, I pulled it up to be completely accurate. So in December 2014, Hill was arrested for domestic assault and battery. It's a felony charge. Okay, he was accused of punching and choking his pregnant girlfriend at the time, and Hill was dismissed from the school the following day. He did then, in the following year, in August, plead guilty to domestic abuse. And as part of the plea agreement, 3 years probation, 52-week batterer intervention course, and 2 years of supervision. So now, as heinous and as awful as that is the last time that he has been, to my knowledge, I think to anybody's knowledge, convicted of a crime, pled guilty to a crime. You wonder with the NFL if they will look into this stronger because of the history. Now, to be fair, again, in 2019, there were allegations of him harming his 3-year-old son, and there was no suspension. So unless more comes of this, I mean, if charges end up being dismissed or something, I can't imagine that the NFL would take action. And obviously, we're going to have to see how this all plays out. But yeah, it's not. Look, if you're the Dolphins, this isn't exactly the story you were hoping for a month out of camp.
No, this is why they want to keep people in mini camps and passing camps and OTAs and training camp. And this 6-week period here is
dangerous
the period.
Times.
Every coach, assistant coach, front office executive, and owner, they're in churches and synagogues all over the country praying during these 6 weeks.
It's
because
true.
They're just hoping that this time off won't have a Patriot player saying, I can't carry 2 guns in the plane. These are the things that they're worried about, and so it's almost like we can't give grown-ass men time on their hands.
It's a Jack Jones thing. I mean, to bring up the New England portion of the offseason, like Jack Jones had just admonished John Morant on Twitter about guns and everything. And then the guy's got 2 guns at an airport. Which, by
the way, I never understand that one.
No, neither do I.
I forgot about it. I didn't know they were in there. Really, dude? You didn't pack your bag, you didn't check your bag. You're come on.
And if you didn't pack your bag, who the hell's packing your bag and putting in 2 firearms? Who is this person? You know what? Look, I have long
an ex-wife.
This is always the most dangerous time of the year for NFL teams, because during the season, guys are largely they're in season mode. They're not. Most guys, if they're serious about their crap, they're not going out. Maybe they're going out for a dinner on a Saturday night before a game on the road, but that's it. They're going back. They got a curfew.
Only the knuckleheads push the envelope.
This is the time of year where the weather is good all over the country, and everybody's out and about. You always run that risk. Look, GMs have their phone on full blast 24 hours a day because you never know. And this is with Jack Jones. He's facing 30 years of prison. That's a real thing. That's not it's some slap on the wrist misdemeanor. We're talking 2 major felonies here. Whether he gets off or not, I don't know. But this is going to be this is a real problem. He could be. This is a Plaxico Burress level. You brought your gun where you shouldn't, and of course in Burress's case it went off and he shot himself in the leg. Okay, but thankfully, the guns did not go off with Jack Jones, but this is real. This is something you look at and go, Jack Jones, football is the least of his problems at the moment.
Yeah.
It's just
this is why we actually do need real laws for guns. You should be maybe put through a course. You should probably obviously have a background check and all these guys. See, that way, if you're Plaxico Burress, you'll learn about a safety. You'll learn about a holster. You'll learn about several things that could actually stop you from actually shooting yourself. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, these are the things that it should be a privilege, not a right to own a gun, because we have too many stupid people in this world, like Plaxico Burress and Jack Jones, that are going to just hurt themselves or somebody else because they're just plain stupid. They're not criminals. They're just plain stupid. There's a comedian that I enjoy, Jim Jeffries, and he does a whole skit on gun control. Whether you agree or disagree, it's funny as hell. But he then gets into how we have to walk as the slowest person in society walks. We have to walk at their pace essentially. And he talks about how
Like this is why we have speed limits. This is why we had to ban drugs, because like some people, obviously he's kidding. It's a comedy routine. But he's like, some people can do drugs and they're fine. Then other people do drugs and they commit 17 crimes. And now we can't do, and he goes through, but the point of it actually, even though is accurate in the sense, like when we as a society think about how we want to live, we need to think about, okay, maybe you are intelligent enough not to do something that's going to cause a major, major problem for yourself or somebody else. But there are other people who are not. And so you have to consider this. And with Plaxico Burress, I've never met Plaxico Burress, but to use that as an example, the man may be very intelligent. He made a very unintelligent choice that evening by putting a gun that was loaded in sweatpants. And the gun then went off. And you say to yourself, how does that happen? How does somebody walk out the door thinking this is fine? But it does. And then with Jack Jones, how do you go to an airport with two guns? How does that happen? But again, it does. And now he's facing really a life-altering situation right now up in Massachusetts.
Mama, don't let your babies grow up to be running backs. Josh Jacobs now can't get a deal. Saquon Barkley, apparently they're starting to talk again. Aaron Jones had to take a pay cut. Dalvin Cook thinks that big money's out there waiting for him and that somebody's going to give him a 20 carry a game job, which, again, you're not going to get that at this point. And by the way, with Josh Jacobs, I don't know if you saw this. You saw the tweet yesterday. He put out a tweet. Right, exactly. And it's just a pretty simple tweet. Whoa, what happened here? Let me go back. Here we go. Okay, just simple tweet.
Bad business.
It says bad business. That's it right there. Bad business. And so you look at all of this, and this is why I told people constantly that were telling me about Josh Jacobs. And I told them 2 months ago, I said, Dolphins aren't trading for him, and Dolphins will not be giving him big money. And people were convinced that the Dolphins were going to trade for him. People were convinced that once they release him, the Dolphins would pounce on him right away. Well, guess what? Nobody's pounced on him.
No.
Nobody's offering him anything. We're seeing all the issues going on with Josh Jacobs and everybody else. I wonder, how much is this going to hurt the running back position in the future? Because eventually people are going to be looking around going, wow, man, this running back position is not very respected. In fact, you will not get a second contract if you're a running back 95% of the time now.
I honestly feel bad for Josh Jacobs in the sense he had a phenomenal year. And at any other position in the league, he would be paid accordingly. He would be paid as the highest, slotted player at his position. The problem is he is a running back. And frankly, it's probably smart business not to pay him. It probably is. Realistically speaking, how many running backs over the last 15 years would you say that guy got a second contract, played it out, and was worth the money? Derrick Henry comes to mind.
That's it.
That's pretty much the whole list, right? Maybe
all the other ones have failed, dude.
Yeah,
the other ones, the Zeke Elliott's failed.
Yes.
The Georgia kid that was with the Rams, and then
Todd Gurley was a disastrous contract.
That was a disaster of a contract. Leonard Fournette was a disaster of a contract.
Yes. If you want to go back to Adrian Peterson and say, okay, but you're talking literally
long time.
Two in the last 20 years. It's not a good bet. It's a bad bet. And so, look, if you're Saquon Barkley, if you're Josh Jacobs, I get it. You're pissed. You want to get paid 100%. But if you're one of these teams, you're probably smart not to pay him. If you look around the league, let's be real. Most of these teams have multiple backs who they use, and they're fine with it. If you look at the Eagles, just let Miles Sanders go. And guess what? They've got Kenneth Gainwell, and they brought in Rashad Penny, and they brought in DeAndre Swift. And they're going to give, between those guys, Gainwell probably gets 100 carries. The other two guys got 200 carries apiece. They'll run for 5 yards a carry behind that line, and they'll be fine. Very rare is it the running back who truly is, even without great blocking, just a transcendent player.
The Chiefs, dude, they went and got a 7th rounder.
Right,
and they were
and Jerick McKinnon. And they're fine. They don't care. McKinnon scored 10 touchdowns last year, and Pacheco ran for 900 yards basically in half of the season, and they were fine with it. I think look, right now in the NFL, I'll go on record with this. I think the Bijan Robinson pick, I think Robinson's a really talented player. I think the Falcons were nuts for taking him in the top 10. It's not because I don't love the guy's talent. You have Algier, who's a rookie, who just ran for 1,000 yards. You don't need a running. And if I have to listen to one more person say, well, they're going to use Robinson as a weapon all over the field, that's great until he lines up against a corner. Then what? He's not running a 9 route against a corner. That's not going to happen. So I think sometimes, and the Lions with Jahmyr Gibbs, same thing. If I'm a team, I'm not drafting a running back till the 3rd, 4th round. There's just no reason. Unless the guy coming out, you're just look, that guy's Reggie Bush in college. Okay, fine.
Right.
I'll hear that. I'll hear that argument. All the rest of these, Ricky Williams when he was at Texas, where he's just unbelievable. Unless you're that level of a guy, I just don't see the argument for it. I really don't.
It really is amazing how disrespected, that position is at this point. So I've been telling the Dolphin Nation, obviously what's gone on has been right on target. They were never going to do it. But I've also now followed up with, I think he ends up here because he already knows what Miami's offering. And it's a team-friendly deal. That's what they were going to offer because it's a luxury selection and addition at this point for them. That's the way they look at it. But I think he's going to find out that there aren't going to be any great offers, and he's going to have a couple of decent offers that are just a little bit more than Miami, but they're going to come from bad teams, I think. And he's going to say, you know what? I'll go to a no-tax state. I'll go to my hometown, sign a 1-year deal, have a chance to win, and then I'll hit the market again next year and look for it. Because I believe as time goes on, Miami becomes sexier to him because he finds out he doesn't have any options. And by the way, there's a whole bunch of other backs that are on the brink of. Aaron Jones took a massive pay cut. The next thing is to cut him. Josh Jacobs, they're giving him trouble. The next thing is to cut him. Saquon Barkley, I don't even know if they do end up giving him a big long-term contract, being injury prone. Other backs are about to hit the streets in the next year or two here because of all this mess, going on. Yeah, so I just don't think teams are ever in a hurry. Kareem Hunt is a decent back. Nobody signs him, dude. Nobody's interested except the Commanders. That's not the place you want to go if you're any kind of player, And that's so true. To me, it really is amazing how devalued they have become.
Kareem Hunt won a rushing title as a rookie in Kansas City. And then midway through 2018, and by the way, he was having an unbelievable year, got released because, video came out of him kicking a woman in a Cleveland hotel. And the Chiefs very famously, at least around Kansas City, said, well, essentially we're cutting him because you lied to us. I don't know if they really cut him over the act. They cut him because he lied about striking the woman. But since he's gone to Cleveland, his yards per carry, 4.2, 4.2, 4.9 last year, 3.8. I mean, he's a very good running back. Yeah. And he's in the prime of his career, 27 years old, I believe.
Fresh.
Can't get a sniff.
Fresh.
Yeah. I mean, not a guy who's had 400 carries a bunch of years, right? I mean, can't get a sniff. And it's interesting. I mean, your point with Cook, if I'm him and I'm looking at the Dolphins, I'd sit there and say, you know what? Having Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson and Najee, not the worst thing in the world for me, because I can go in there and have 200 carries instead of 300 carries, and I can get a rest. And the other thing is, Denver's been one of the teams that's been heavily talked about here with Cook. I don't get the fit there. You have Javonte Williams, who is a lead back. Now, I know he's coming off an
injury.
I get it, but they also signed Samaje Perine, and Samaje Perine's a real number 2 back. He's a good player. Okay. If you're Cook, Williams, when healthy, and Perine, to me, is a bigger threat to really taking away a lot of carries than Mostert, who's a guy who's very talented, but is a guy who I don't think you want to give 250 carries to. You want to keep him, to use your word, fresh.
Right.
Yeah. I think And Miami's better than Denver. Like, if you want to go somewhere and win, Miami makes the most sense. And if I'm the Dolphins, I will say I'd be very interested from this standpoint. I'm doing everything to keep Tua on the field this year. Everything. And if that means in some games where you're trying to salt away a lead, literally not having him throw the ball more than like a throw here or throw there, that's fine all day. I'd be more than happy to just give Cook the ball and say, here, man, you run out the fourth quarter. Happily ever after, don't get hurt.
Yeah, I'm with you there. By the way, is Hard Knocks going to get a team? Because only Washington wants to do it. Nobody else wants to do it. And I know that they're talking about Washington as a mid-season type of thing because they want to stay away from the Daniel Snyder mess until he sells. Right. So who the hell is going to take this, bro?
So there's rules with this. Right? It's like you have to be a team that didn't make the playoffs, and you have to be a team that doesn't have a new head coach, I believe. I think that's the rule or something like that. I mean, based on that, look, first of all, forever and always, I'm all about the Raiders. Like, just put the Raiders on it. It's fine. Give me Mark Davis and give me Josh McDaniels and give me Jimmy Garoppolo, like maybe or maybe not practicing all summer. I don't care.
The Lions would have been interesting again. I know they turned it down.
They just did them, yeah.
Dan Campbell is made for that shit, dude.
Yeah, he doesn't care. I think, I mean, the Rams would be interesting from the standpoint after that disaster of a season last year. Like, what's that look like? Yeah, you're right. I mean, Denver would be amazing, but because Peyton's a first-year coach, he's not going to do it. Thank God, Denver would be unbelievable.
And he doesn't. And Payton's not the kind of guy that wants that shit around.
No, he doesn't. I mean? He doesn't.
I just read where Kareem Jackson's like, man, we're doing things I've never seen before in my life, like that. So
I would pay real money to watch Sean Payton and Russell Wilson interact behind closed doors. Yeah. Because it's one thing when you're at a press conference and it's like, yeah, I love this guy and this guy's great. And then it's a whole nother deal when Sean Payton opens up Twitter and sees Russell Wilson sliding on one of those boards, catching a football. And then, like, we get a Broncos country and let's ride in a late July. If you know anything about Sean Payton, I don't imagine that, like, all that, like, the brand forward stuff that Russell Wilson does, I don't think that's going to fly with Sean Payton. Sean Payton comes from the Bill Parcells school. That's who he came up under as a coach. He worked in Dallas under Parcells. Like, that is going to be fascinating because if you think about it, Wilson has played for nothing but players coaches his whole career, right? I mean, he had Pete Carroll, who's the ultimate players coach, and then he had Nathaniel Hackett, who was sort of a coach. Now you go to Peyton, who is chewing gum and screaming at like OTAs. What is that going to be like? And that is of all the relationships in the league this year, that one fascinates me the most.
Yeah, no, that one's, well, I mean, because we're all also it's a do or die situation, for Russell Wilson here because he's got to revive his career because clearly Peyton has the power to say, yeah, no, you're not the guy. We're moving away from you, and you're out of here. So they've given him that kind of power. He's not going to be forced to coach him for several years. So this has to work this year, and so the pressure is really on Russell Wilson, not as much on Sean Payton. It's really more on Russell Wilson to prove that last year was an aberration and that, what do you think? Do you think it's over for Russell Wilson, or do you think that Payton revives his career?
I think that he will be better, but I do not think he's ever going to be what he was in Seattle. I mean, at this point, he's 35 years old. And like we both know, not too many guys start to go downhill and then all of a sudden they're just better, like just wildly better again. Do I think he's better than he was last season? He was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league last season. I have to imagine he's better than that. I have to think that he's maybe league average, but I don't think all of a sudden this is going to be back to where, hey, he's leading them into a conference title game. Like, I don't see it. And to your point about the pressure, there's no doubt there's more pressure on Russell Wilson. Like, Sean Payton's the guy now in Denver. Forget the GM, forget everybody other than the owner. Nobody's got more pull than Sean Payton. They just gave him a fortune to come there. And if you look at at Russell Wilson's contract, all right, so this year's cap number is $22 million. Next year it jumps up to 35.4. And then after that, it's 55.4, 58.4, 53.4, 54.4 when he's 40 years old. Now, if Denver had, let's just say he's awful this year. Okay, let's say it's a repeat of last season. If they cut him, it would have to be post June 1st. Here's how much money they would save. $0. Okay? So now you get into the following year, after not this upcoming, but the next season, they could cut him, and they'd still need $18.4 million, but they would save 37. So like they could realistically cut him post June 1. The point is, this contract, like if he's not markedly better, this might be the worst contract in NFL history.
Oh, yeah,
he's not even on his extension yet. Like people hear the 5 year, they're like, oh, so he's got 4 years left. No. He had 2 years left on his current deal before he went to Denver. His extension doesn't start until next season. I mean, it is one of the worst deals in league history if Russell Wilson's not miles better than he's been.
What do you say to the people that think that Sean Payton also is kind of overrated because he had 7 losing seasons with a guy like Drew Brees?
I think that he is a good head coach. I don't think he's on the level of Tomlin and Reed and Belichick, because especially like Belichick won most of his years with Brady, but like Tomlin's won some years. Like Roethlisberger was great, but Roethlisberger also some years at the end where he couldn't play anymore. And like they were still going to the playoffs. They almost made the playoffs last year with Kenny Pickett, who was not playing particularly well. Andy Reid now is home.
Didn't they almost make it the year before with the Duckster?
Yes, with Duck Hodges, yes. I mean, Mike Tomlin to me is the most underrated coach of the last 25 years. But if you look at like Andy Reid, now he has Mahomes now, but he won a ton with guys in Philly who was like, like Kevin Cobb, and he'd go to the playoffs. I don't like with Peyton, those defenses were awful. And God knows he's not a defensive coach. He's an offensive coach. But to miss the playoffs 7 times with Drew Brees is not great. I do think he's a good coach. And I think offensively, he's a brilliant coach. But they're going to need Vance Joseph, who's the defensive coordinator, to really run that side of things. And I think that's one of the more underappreciated storylines this offseason. Evero did a great job as their coordinator last year in Denver. I mean, that team couldn't score a point. And the defense was the only thing keeping them respectable in a lot of these games. Now Evero goes to Carolina, and you bring in Vance Joseph. And I like Vance Joseph, but here's the problem. He plays a single high safety look, and he blitzes like crazy. And in that conference, with all these elite quarterbacks, good luck playing single high and blitzing like crazy. That is going to be a recipe for getting torched down the field. So I think Vance Joseph, he's going to have to do a great job, or Denver's going to be sitting there going, yeah, we're better because Peyton will fix the offense, but we're still a 6 or 7 win team.
All right, man. I am, Bitcoin's about to hit 30,000 again. Climbing back, baby.
There you go. It's good news.
Huh?
It's good news for you. It's good news.
It's great news for me. It's absolutely great news to watch the entire freaking crypto market has absolutely exploded, dude. Holy shit. Still not into crypto yet, huh?
No, I'm not. Maybe I'll regret it. Maybe I won't. But I have a financial advisor, and I asked him once, what would you do? He's like, I don't know. I don't trust him. I'm like, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, no. If you don't know anything about it, you're going to be completely, definitely intimidated by it, and you're going to want to stay away from it. That's how most of the world is for now. For now, in the next year or two, everybody will be singing a completely different tune, and they'll all be working the blockchain and Web3 and crypto and Bitcoin.
I thought it all crashed like a year ago.
No.
See,
everything.
Again, I will openly admit I know nothing about Bitcoin. So.
Everything crashes and then it bounces back. And it went down to 16.5 and it's about to hit 30 again. And all the people say, oh, but it went to 67. And then I always turn to them and say, what asset in the world goes from 8,000 to 67,000 and then stays there? That's never happened. It doesn't happen. And the problem was it went to 67,000. I try to explain to people it's because guess what happened at that moment? the pandemic hit. Everything started, all kinds of shit hit the fan. You know what people went to? They went to Bitcoin because they thought we were going to go into a recession and all that stuff. And instead, what the government do? They printed money and gave everybody money. So then they pulled back out. So then they pulled back out again. Right. They pulled
a huge left turn. Is there?
And so now you're watching it grow back from 16. Now it's getting back to 30. Why? Because we're watching governments all over the world and their monies are crumbling and crushing. And so now you're watching Colombia and Argentina and Brazil and El Salvador and all these countries and Ukraine and everybody that's having financial issues because their dollars are worth nothing. They're now starting to use Bitcoin. And that's what's happening now all of a sudden. It's the rest of the world is getting ahead of us on the crypto Web3 blockchain game. And so now that's what you're seeing. But eventually, I don't know if you follow the news, but in the last last week, it's BlackRock, it's Fidelity, it's all the big financial institutions are all opening up Bitcoin FTD, or what is it called?
I've got Fidelity and Morgan Stanley, the old money managers. So I might have to check that out. My question to you,
with money, the people with the trillions, BlackRock has 11 trillion that they manage, and they own Goldman Sachs. Yeah. Okay, so they if they're getting Bitcoin now, what do you think? Well,
it'd be more legitimized, mainstream.
Exactly, because it hasn't been regulated completely yet. So once it gets regulated, all these people and institutions are just going to FOMO in, and it's going to explode, and it'll go to catastrophic numbers. You'll see.
I'll leave it at this for you, but I'll ask you.
Mark my words. Remember, I'm the same guy that told everybody go buy season tickets for the for Inter Miami CF. Messi's coming. Go buy them now. I've told them the last couple months, go buy them. And in the second half of it, because they weren't selling single game tickets. I don't know if you know that. Inter Miami did not sell second half single game tickets. You can only buy season tickets. And why didn't they sell the single game tickets? Because they knew they didn't allow the jersey 10 and the jersey 5 to be taken. 10 is Messi and 5 is Sergio Busquets. And guess who's coming? Messi and Busquets. And I told everybody that, brother, Moss ain't playing. You know, if Moss would have bought our baseball team, we would have kept some of that outfield. You know, although Ozuna wouldn't have been good to keep, by the way. Now that I think about it.
No.
Yeah, Yelich, but not Ozuna. But anyway, as I digress on that, Moss will spend. And look what happened. So, I'm just saying, it's coming. It's going to dominate, bro. It's
one of these days.
The internet all over again. It's cell phones all over again. It's the same shit. We're all intimidated. Oh, the internet. I don't know. Oh, email. I don't need email. Really? You don't, huh? Oh, you don't need internet, huh? Oh, okay. What? Yeah. Cell phones. You think it's a joke? Cell phones were such a joke that Bell South or Bell, whatever at that time, whatever it was called in your part of the world in the United States, told them, oh, that's nothing. And then the Germans, Motorola, said, oh, no, we'll take it. We'll and boom, that's where the cell phone exploded because the Germans took advantage of it and we didn't. Crypto and Web3 and all that is the same thing as going to space, an airplane, the internet, all of this shit that we said we would never do. Oh, tweet. What's a tweet? Oh, that's a joke. Yeah, it's a joke now, huh? So it's the same shit, dude. We have lived this in many different ways. This is the same thing all over again. So first they deny it. Second, they laugh at you. Third is they're fighting you. What's going on now? They're fighting you.
Yeah.
Fourth is they join you.
Yeah.
Fourth is they join you. So we've gone through the first two stages already. Avoided, laughed at. Now they're fighting you, and now they're going to join you. And now they're starting to join.
If you have 50,000 in Bitcoin, can you take that out in real money? Like, can you just be like, all right, I like that.
Yeah,
that's always my question.
I I can grab right now 100 off my Bitcoin, convert it to USDC, and dump it right into my bank
So
account.
what is the conversion? Like if you had 100 in Bitcoin, like
It's
what is
$100.
the conversion? It's $100.
It's $100.
Okay. It's just straight over to
Straight up, $100.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was always my question. It's like
if you bought a Bitcoin at 16,500, your Bitcoin right now is worth 30,000. So,
well, you're right. There's the market movement. Yeah.
Please explain to me what investment in the world on January 1st you buy at 16,500 and it's at 30,000 right now. Please explain, which one is it? None. It doesn't exist. Gold's been around forever and it's at 2,000. This thing's been around for 14 years and it's at 30,000. I can't explain it more to people. And there's only 21 million. Once they're mined, it's over. This ain't the US dollar where they just keep printing and printing and printing and printing and printing and printing, which what does that? It devalues the hell out of the dollar.
Right. Of course.
And that's what's going on. So, it's all good, bro. What can I tell you, my man? But look into it.
I will.
Get a different financial advisor.
I have a meeting with him like tomorrow. That's why I asked. So that's fine. I will.
When was the last time you asked him about crypto?
2 years ago.
Okay. All right. Dude, he gave you the answer that he should give you at that time. I wonder what he tells you now. Just say Bitcoin and Ethereum. Don't go into any of the other crazy coins and altcoins because then it gets deeper and you really got to know. But Bitcoin and Ethereum are the dogs. So ask him, hey, man, I want to, this Bitcoin Ethereum thing, isn't this the future? See what he says. Okay.
Okay. Well, I've got a meeting, so I've got to ask him anyway. So
yeah, ask him. All right, what do you got going on SI so folks can check you out, my friend?
Next couple of weeks, it's going to be a lot of previews, team previews. I will have the Dolphins one coming out reasonably soon, the next few weeks here. He's
winning the division like I do, by the way.
I haven't won the division. I think they're the best team in the division. And Stephon Diggs' whole situation is not hurting that cause. I think, so we got the previews coming out. Today, a piece came out that's I enjoyed writing. It was the 10 defensive players who are going to or who could define the upcoming season. I thought that was fun. It's kind of an interesting look at it. And I think when you really look, like there are some guys around the league that you look at and go, you know what? Maybe not the biggest name in the world. I will tell you right now, number 6 is a Dolphin. So you can check that out. Got a whole bunch of that stuff coming up. Working on the season preview for the magazine. And lastly, if you don't subscribe to Sports Illustrated in the print version, go to your local store mid-July and get the magazine because your boy has 2 bylines in the magazine. And so you need to go get it because it's only going to be you only get it the first time once. This will be the first time in the magazine. So go check it out. A couple stories from Green Bay. I think people will enjoy it.
Support our guy there. So go buy a Sports Illustrated. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderame and catch his work there at Sports Illustrated. Matt, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you immensely. We'll catch up next week.
Sounds good. Take care.
You got it, baby. There you go. The great Matt Verderame. Yes, sir. Oh, man. Let me tell you a little bit about EJD Construction. Let's get into EJD Construction because Eric is good people. We were hanging out this weekend. Poop was out there with us, and we were enjoying some barbecue. He can cook it up, man. He built one of those huts with it's not really a tiki hut. It's kind of a really nice hut. And no, tikis are cool too, by the way. I'm just saying, but it's kind of like a regular roof, and he's got a full kitchen and barbecue. Remember, I've told you some of our listeners have done that, created that, right? And that's probably, he's a pro at that. It's got a grease trap and everything. I mean, it's just absolutely amazing stuff. So EJD Construction, Eric has been at this Dade and Broward counties only. Okay. Sometimes I tell you some of our sponsors are in the Tri-County area. Some sponsors can handle the whole state. Some sponsors can handle the entire country, like Essential Moving Experts. But EJD Construction in Dade and Broward County, custom home construction, major home remodeling. They're fully insured liability and workers' comp. That way you are never at risk of getting sued, because if anybody goes on your property to work and they are not insured and they get injured on your property, they can sue you. Did you know that? So let's avoid that stuff. Very affordable shell construction in-house. That's how they keep their costs down for you folks. Here's the cell number. So if you're looking to create an addition for your home because the family's getting larger, or you want to build an entire second floor to your home, or you need to modernize the kitchen or replace the roof or build a barbecue kitchen outside in the yard, observation deck, home theater with stadium seating, all kinds of different things that you can come up with. They do it all. Please call Eric, AAA plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843. J-Town says Fidelity and Charles Schwab jumped in the game. Of course, bro. It's only a matter of time. I've been telling you all, and it's just coming to fruition, and it's getting closer and closer and closer. I don't bullshit you guys, man. I don't bullshit you guys. You may not like what I say sometimes. You may not, but more often than not, I'm usually leading you guys down the right path. I'm not perfect because there's no such thing as the human being that is. We are all defective one way or the other. Bitcoin, by the way, is at 29,800. Ethereum's at 1850 right now, up 6%, 6.5%. Bitcoin's up 10%. That's enormous. Jasmy is up 11.2%, up to 43 right now, 43,000th of a penny. Crazy. ADA's up almost 10%. Atom is up 6.5%. One of my favorite investments, Atlas, a gamble, but I love Star Atlas. It is up 6.6%. Immutable X is up 11%. VeChain is up 8%. HBAR is up 7.5%. Polkadot's up 7.5%. God, I have scooped up so much extra Polkadot. It is crazy, dude. How much Polkadot I've scooped up lately. Avalanche is up 10%. Link is up 7%. Mana, man, Decentraland is at a steal right now at 36 cents. It is up 9%. Illuvium, which I love, it's up 7%. Algorand up almost 8%. ApeCoin up 8%. Gala up 7.5%. SHIB is up nearly 6%. Solana's up 6.5%. Man, I mean, the market, it is absolutely booming, dude. Booming. Optimism is up nearly 16%. Optimism is one of the really good investments in crypto also. Just really good stuff, man. There's a lot of things to like going on right now in crypto. And let me tell you something. All of these kind of things, I didn't think were going to happen till later on in the year in September and October. So I'm a little surprised that we're in the 30 range for crypto, for Bitcoin. I thought we would be maybe still stuck in the very low 20s and I think it's because what's happened in Japan, what's happened in China, where they're opening it up and giving their citizens and their institutions opportunities to get into crypto. Right now, China and Japan are in this process. First of all, as human beings, people, individuals, they have to get approved by the government in order to purchase crypto. They can only purchase a certain types of crypto. They gave them a list. Obviously, they can invest in their own cryptos, which any of the Japanese or Chinese companies, they can invest in those. But any that are like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, Cardano, Avalanche, I think those are, I'm missing like 2 or 3 more, but it's like a list of maybe 10 that they can buy only. Okay. And so you're going to start seeing a pump in all of those. And maybe that's what that's coming from, because on June 1st, they started to open it up to both countries. Remember how, people used to call and, oh, China's against crypto, this, that. And I would tell you all the time, well, isn't VeChain Chinese? But, people that don't follow crypto don't know shit. So it's just like Jasmy. I love Jasmy. They're Japanese. they're into crypto. It's just they didn't want their people into crypto because they wanted the government first to get a hold of it. That's kind of what our government's doing now. They're doing a lot of the communist bullshit, trying to scare you. And they're sicking Gensler on you because Janet Yellen and Elizabeth Warren and Biden are sicking Gensler on you. They know, but they're protecting the banks. You know, the people that screw up our money. Yeah. That's what's going on. But eventually, we're going in one direction, man. Big O, I'm chomping on the bit, waiting for my new Tangent wallet to arrive in the mail so I can drop $10K into Bitcoin. What's your equation? 50% Bit, 20%. I tell you to be safe, 40% Bitcoin, 30% Ethereum, and then 10, 10, and 10 on your. So whenever you got $100, buy 40 Bitcoin, 30 Ethereum, and then put $10 in ADA, $10 in Polkadot, $10 in Polygon, $10 in Avalanche, $10, like that. And then you get another, $100. You buy 40 more Bitcoin, 30 more in Ethereum, and then 10, 10, and 10. And if you want to do it in 10 in Gala or 10, that's what I would do. Altcoins, I just put a small portion in there. And right now, you still have most altcoins are at incredible values right now. Incredible values. Okay? It's in a couple of months when this thing pumps and it gets gets crazy. That's when everybody starts to. It's what that gentleman said earlier. Everybody FOMOs in when it's pumping, and then they sell when they're too low and they panic. And instead of selling, you're supposed to buy more. I know it's hard because it looks like it's the worst, but that's when your best opportunities come. But you have to believe in it. So study it, read up on it, find out who owns the company, find out the amount of coins available that are in circulation, find out what's it called, their tokenomics to it all. Who owns these coins? Because you can do all of that. You can figure all this kind of stuff out. And then look at the track record, where it's at now, where it's been, where, all those things. So you can try to figure out what to invest in. Who are their partners? How is that business going to grow? You can find all that stuff is there for you, but you have to go and do your homework, If Bitcoin can find a floor at 30, that would be absolutely incredible. It probably would have already been there if it wasn't for the FTX collapse, Silvergate, and all that stuff that just recently happened. All that stuff that's happened over the last year. Oh, and by the way, Fed's raising rates and all that kind of stuff, less liquidity in the markets. That hurts. That's the only reason why. But once it starts, and they're going to start the printer towards the end of the year, they'll start the printer, and then and in 2024, they'll start to lower rates at one point. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to juice up the economy so everybody feels great, and then they vote for the old geezer again. That's all. Bro, this is like, it's like so predictable what they're doing. For those of us that follow it, it's so predictable. The average person doesn't see what most, those of us that invest, see what's going on and how everything's being managed. The average person doesn't give a shit about this, doesn't care. But next year, they're all going to feel great because they're going to be lowering rates. They're going to be printing a ton of cash and, killing the value of our dollar and hurting us worldwide and all that. But internally, the people that are walking around the streets, they're going to feel better about everything. And they're just going to, vote for the old geezer and move on, bro. It sucks, but, they fool the average person. Big O in the morning, best in the biz. It's a beautiful thing, baby. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Paul Holland says, Big O, which research or information tools would you recommend for someone wanting to learn about Bitcoin? Anthony Pompliano, I want you to follow him. I want you to follow Crypto Casey. I want you to follow Cryptos Are Us, an Asian guy by the name of George. He opens up every show with, I'm George, we're all George. Okay, it's funny. But anyway, very level-headed people, very smart people, and they will guide you with Bitcoin and in the industry. Those three. Crypto Casey. Cryptos are us. It's cryptos, the letter R, and then us. And you'll see George there. Subscribe to that. And Anthony Pompliano. And subscribe to those three people right there will educate you. They do an excellent job. They avoid the FUD. They avoid the bullshit. And you'll be way smarter because of it. Okay? Do not follow MSNBC or CNBC or Fox or CNN. None of that stuff. They don't know anything about this. Not Bloomberg, nobody. There's nobody on any of the networks that I've watched that truly understands crypto. Okay? No one. We're not there yet. I very few magazines or, companies that are, not necessarily Bitcoin related, like whatever, Newsweek or the New York Times or whatever, from magazines to newspapers to whatever. I haven't seen people that understand crypto either. I don't have any writers there that I follow. Okay? So I can't tell you about those people. I have zero respect for them. Zero. In fact, usually they piss me off because they're misinforming all of you out there and misleading you with lies. And they're just repeating some of the FUD that the government's throwing out there. That's right, Eros. Gensler is a clown. Big O in the morning. I'm sorry. With all of the tall, skinny NBA supposed game changers who fall miserably, how isn't Victor Wembanyama different from Sam Bowie, Manute Bol, or Sean Bradley? Or will he be the one? Dougie, I don't know. Let me see something here a second. Did you send me something here, Sean, or something? Okay, because you were like, all right. Anyway, let me see if did Bitcoin go over 30 yet? Not yet. It's right there. We'll see. What I can tell you about Victor is that he is not a very good pitcher. That I can tell you about Victor. You may want to make the screen a little smaller there, Sean. So Victor was at the New York Yankees game with the Meteors, and there he is. So he's out to throw the first pitch. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Have you seen this, Sean? I hope you have, because this was bad, bro. So, and by the way, it's not his fault. Okay? He threw like he's supposed to throw. Wham. Would have been great if it hits that camera guy right in the nuts. Bounces like right in front of him. You saw him that he kind of moved a little bit to make sure it wasn't coming his way. Because if it nails him, in the family jewels, that would not be a good scene. So it was a terrible pitch. His hands just swallowed the baseball. Plus, he doesn't play baseball. He's a Frenchman. Come on, bro. French people can't play baseball unless they actually came here and actually started to play baseball when they were young and actually learned the game. But he's supposed to throw a shitty pitch. If he would have thrown a strike, that would have been amazing, because that means somebody would have taught him to, use his fingers, the tips of his fingers, in order to throw that ball, to put the spin on it and all that kind of stuff. Like most of us know how to throw a baseball. You know what I'm saying? So by him throwing that left hook of a pitch, I can't blame the kid, bro. I mean, let's be nice. Let's be nice. He was a good sport about it, went out there. He's ready for the draft. He'll be number one. I don't know if I know he can't pitch. I don't know if he's going to be great or not. I don't know what his heart is like, Dougie Fresh, right? Because if he can't fight through adversity, then that's not going to be good. You know what I'm saying? So he's got to be able to fight through the adversity. Anyway, Marlins lost yesterday to the Blue Jays 2-0. Yuri Perez pitched a hell of a game last night. I didn't get to watch it because, again, I was at the concert. 6 innings, 3 hits, 9 Ks, a 1.54 ERA. Figured it would be Tanner. You know, he was always screwing off with the Bad News Bears, and Tanner yesterday, gave up a couple earned runs in 2/3 of an inning. Arrays, by the way, 1 of 4, so his average drops to, he's struggling, 398. He's struggling. Kevin Gausman and Sandy Alcantara are on the mound to toe the slab right now at 12:10 in 13 minutes. I need to talk about Pat Riley and what he talked about yesterday with the Miami Heat. I'm going to do this here at the top of the hour. I promised you in this hour would do it, and I failed. But I am going to do it here at the top of the hour because I got to get this off my chest, and I think it's something we all need. There's 3 things that we have to talk about with the Miami Heat. 2 of them from the press conference, and something else that I want you guys to assess, because this is the part we have to kind of look at and say, what's going on here? Shannon Sharpe, I'm rooting for him to do this because I think FanDuel is one of those companies I personally would love to work for, because that's the kind of place I could have my talk show. I wouldn't want to work for ESPN or Fox or any of that shit, because there's too much of that corporate crap that goes on. And as I told you, as much as I like, damn it, now I'm brain farting. The punter, what's his name? That he's leaving FanDuel, going to ESPN. Come on, Sean, help me out here.
McAfee.
Pat McAfee. I like Pat McAfee. I think he does an excellent job, man. I think he's cool. His show's going to suck on ESPN. It's going to take a monster hit. Maybe it'll be a decent show, but he won't be able to be himself. It just, the show will not have the same image that it's had in the past, because you're stuck with the mouse and ESPN and all that crap. So in the end, they're going to hold you to a different standard. He can say whatever he wants. Look, man, he took the money and God bless him. He's got to set himself up. He's a smart dude. Take advantage. But Shannon Sharpe could go to ESPN probably, but apparently FanDuel is going to make him a substantial offer. If I'm him, that's where I want to go, man. That's listen, I'm at a different point in my life. I don't need to kiss somebody's ass, and I refuse to do it. And I refuse to work for corporations anymore. I really have no interest, unless they can promise me that I can be myself, and don't come telling me how to do a show. Don't go, hey, do you have to call Whiteside a knucklehead? I don't want that shit. I don't need that shit. I don't need some schmuck that's never done a talk show himself, never had any success, never had a following, that's one of the things that's wrong in our business. We have too many people telling the people that actually do the radio, right? They're telling us how to do a job that they don't know how to do. This happens in newspapers and magazines. You have editors telling the writers these editors have never written a significant story, never really broken any news, but they're telling you how to be a writer. Just like plenty of program directors or assistant program directors who couldn't hold a jock to most of the people that they boss, and you're telling them how to do a radio show when they're a hell of a lot more successful than you ever were. I'm sorry. It's just, I have a hard time, and especially when I constantly hear people telling me shit, and I know that that's not the right thing, So if I'm Shannon Sharpe, FanDuel is where I would go. And you're going to make money. They'll pay whatever. You're going to get a few more in ESPN. Big deal. You're not going to have the freedoms. I don't think he's hurting that much for money or anything like that. So I kind of feel bad that this guy's moved his show to ESPN. Sucks. Anyway, all right, let's do it. Hour number 3 is next. Really quick break here. All right, give me 1 minute. We're going to start hour number 3, and I'm going to talk about Pat Riley. We got some sound bites I want to share with Pat Riley and the Miami Heat, and moves or no moves. We'll talk about that next.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Miles an hour, that's a Category 4 hurricane. 3 deaths are reported in Florida after more than 24 were killed in the Caribbean. This
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. Hour number 4 of the program is on the air. Thank you all, as always, for tuning in. And I talked about it in the first hour, and just in case, if Jack, if you're watching, if you weren't watching earlier, once again, thank you very much. That was very kind of you to give me the tickets that you could not use yesterday for the Bryan Adams concert. And so I just want to thank you again for that, because that was awesome, dude. My wife really, really enjoyed it. She had a good time. Bryan Adams was phenomenal, man. Wow. I mean, phenomenal. Phenomenal. His voice has not missed one iota. It was perfect. It was immaculate. Okay? He couldn't have sounded better. And I had not seen him in 30 years. And to witness what I saw last night, that was pretty freaking awesome, dude. And if you want to check it out yourself, I have videos on our Twitter feed at Big O Show, and Big O Show on Twitter, and Big O Radio Show on Instagram. You see it there on the screen, on the bottom part of the screen there, and check it out there. You can see some of the highlights from last night. Pretty good stuff, man. You will enjoy it, and the sound is absolutely phenomenal. What else do we have going on? And I'm waiting for Bitcoin to cross 30,000. It's at 29,848. So, we'll give it a yell when it does cross. That kid Yuri is just, he is. He's a hell of a pitcher. So Pat Riley. Yesterday, Pat Riley talked about a couple of things. All right. And if we can, Sean, first of all, let's start off with Tyler Hero. Okay. Because I think it's the lesser of the two, and it doesn't have as many layers as the other point that he made that, listen, the press conference was mediocre. By Pat Riley's standards, he has left way more meat on the bone in years past. But now, because we're in the middle of free agency and he can't talk about certain things, it's harder for him at that moment. So, as much as maybe Ira others tried, he had his limitations. He said there are no rules, but there are rules, like how he started the press conference. So here's Pat Riley talking up Tyler Hero. Sean, can you bring it up for me, please? And let's hear the Godfather talk a little bit about Tyler Hero, because he's been obviously talked about, whether it's the injuries or not meeting expectations or being a trade piece or being a cornerstone of the team. All of those different points of views have been shared by media, by fans, and of course, the Heat coaches and front office. Let's hear Pat Riley elaborate a little bit more on Tyler Hero.
Tyler is, just an extraordinary scorer and fourth quarter player, big time shot maker. He's 23 years old. You got to watch it, with these guys. And last year he was out in the Eastern Conference Finals for almost 4 games with a groin, and this year he broke his hand. I'm a loose ball guy, ball on the floor, first guy to the ball. I'm going to caution him on his shooting hand, to go with his left hand or something. But, we missed him. People don't understand just how lethal he is in those moments. He gets bigger in the biggest of moments. He just does. We've seen it time and again, from the bubble to here. So, we've got 2 anchors in Bam and Tyler.
Okay, so couple things to start off. First of all, Shavad Bodie, I see you say, Big O, I'm from the Bahamas. Our private sector local banks don't allow us to buy crypto with Visa cards, ETH Visa cards. It's very frustrating. Government discourages it. Most of them are in their offshore banks. Exactly. By the way, can you get a VPN? Get a VPN so that way you're offline, like they can't see you online, and then you might be able to purchase it that way and then store it in your digital wallet. So try a VPN. That way you hide your IP address, and maybe you might be able to get by with that. So try that. That's what I would do, and go about that. Go about it that way. Anyway, so here's Pat Riley, and folks, he has to talk up Hero. Now, whether he believes it or not, I'm not sure. Okay. Do I know that Tyler Hero can play the game? Of course. But I also know that Tyler Hero has been unreliable for many years now. Injuries have been a part of his game since he became a Miami Heat player. And so all I know is that he is unreliable because he hasn't been available for the last couple of years. And I know he goes, oh, he's 23. You got to watch out with that. Well, sometimes you don't have to watch out with that. Sometimes what you see is what you get. And I when he talks about a big player and big moments and all that stuff, yeah, he's had some moments, but they're not consistent enough. And they're inconsistent. They're inconsistent throughout the season. They're inconsistent from season to season. His availability is it's consistently inconsistent. But he has to talk him up to reinforce the confidence in Tyler. That's one. He has to talk him up so that way the Heat don't look desperate that they're trying to trade Tyler Hero. No, we're not looking to trade. Well, that's it. We're fine. Well, these are 2 cornerstones. Well, they're 2 terrific role players. I don't know about cornerstones. Glenn Rice is a cornerstone. Tim Hardaway's a cornerstone. Zoe's a cornerstone. Wade, Shaq, Bosh, LeBron. Butler. Those are cornerstones. Those are studs. You build everything else around those kind of guys. I'm sorry. When you tell me cornerstone, when you tell me franchise, when you tell me star, that's what I'm thinking of. When you tell me a star, I'm thinking of Alonzo Mourning. When you give me a star, I'm thinking Dwayne Wade. Jimmy Butler steps into that room with those guys, but Tyler doesn't. Bam doesn't. Bam's in that room with, P.J. Brown and Udonis Haslem and very important people to the history of the Heat, to the success of the Heat, but not necessarily cornerstones and stars. Incredibly important role players because you need them. Can't win without Coopers and Michael Thompsons. You can't win without certain guys that will help you. They will do all the dirty work for you. You need those kind of guys. They're super important to have. You got to have a Charles Oakley on your team. Nothing wrong with that. He helps you in many different ways. Is he a star? No, but he's an incredibly important player. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you have some of those kind of guys on your team, a Posey, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, dude, they're super important. It's how you win your championships when you have those kind of guys, because you got to have role. That's the concern about the Phoenix Suns, right? You got the 4 guys, but then who else is going to support them? So you got to have that mix, but you got to have the cornerstone players. Miami only has 1, but all he's doing there is selling Tyler Hero, selling Tyler to Tyler, selling Tyler to the fan base, selling Tyler to opponents. So when you call him, they're going to talk him up to heaven and hell, and they love him so much that it's very hard for them to part ways. Hey, but we'll give you this. Let us think about it. And when they hang up, they're going, oh, yeah, we got to make this deal. Let's wait a little bit before we call him back. I get the sell job. I totally understand it. It's just not the reality. Tyler's a nice player, but not more than a role player at this point in time. And I don't know if he'll ever turn into a star. I'm not exactly sure. And first of all, he needs to be able to stay on the damn court. And he has a problem staying on the court. A big time problem. All right, so the other one, we're looking for the Heat to make big moves, right? I've been talking about you got to add another star next to Jimmy Butler, as we just talked about. In my eyes, Bam is not that star. He can't impose his will. He can't score offensively all the time on a consistent basis. He just doesn't have it in him to impose that will on people. And Tyler's not around enough to do it anyway, as it is. So, Pat Riley, are you going to make the move? Do you have to make the move? Do you need to? Does this team need a star? Or will subtle moves, right? Will those kind of moves, the smaller moves, will they do? Let's hear his answer on how they're attacking this need for a star.
Subtle moves will be enough. If they're the right moves, will be enough during this offseason. Hitting the home run, as I said, it's addition by subtraction. And so you can go out. We've done this. We played this game for 27 years, and some of them we hit big. And I plan on hitting big again. But I'm not just swinging for the fences right now because it could be reckless, a little bit reckless. And after this year, I feel very good about where we are. But also, I agree with you. We need to improve.
Your mic, your mic.
Sorry about that. The subtle moves, sure, it could help. And if it's the right ones, right, he says, but he agrees that you got to get better. Now, was he just preparing you for worst case scenario that they're going to roll it back? Because that's what it seems like. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with rolling it back, but you're not a championship caliber team. I get it. You've been in the championship 2 out of 4 years. I think you have a championship caliber coach. I think you just have a coach that makes everything better than what it really is. And you're asking Eric Spoelstra to overachieve again. And he'll do it. But if he only overachieves to the second round, they're going to call him the failure when it's not his fault. He's doing the best he can with what he has overall. I mean, it was a screwed up season, and then you fought through the playoffs. You barely got in, and then you woke up in the playoffs and things went your way. The injury to Giannis. You got the Knicks. Boston's got, they're not really led by two guys with cojones. You know what I'm saying? Those guys, BBs, they haven't dropped yet. That's why Celtics lose, because those guys are just not there yet. You know, they look like stars, but they don't perform like stars in key moments, bro. Not enough. So they can't get over the top. And look, I know that he says if we got to do the right move, because if not, it's punitive. And that's because they have $176 million in salaries. Now, the projected cap is $134 million. The projected luxury tax is $162. So they're already over the 162 with 176. And the new punitive, the second apron, what is it? Now is this Hell's Kitchen now? We got to have aprons on and we got to start. I'm joking, relax. The new the second tier of luxury tax violation is 179.5. So you're $3.5 million just under that. Which, if you cross that, then you lose the mid-player exemption and all kinds of stuff. So that's what they're talking about, because these are new rules. I had no idea. When I had Ira on Monday, I had no idea that this thing is that complicated now. And there's more rules now that I've got to learn, because it affects how you can make, trades or not. But here's my problem with all of this. Here's my problem with everything going on. So if you bring it back, are you doing it because you're not willing to take on the punitive damages? Well, then you're really not committed to winning. Because if the move is there to be made, to go over, and I don't care if you lose your mid-level exemption next year, but if you could get that star that gives you a chance at a title, it's still better than rolling it back and wasting another year of Jimmy Butler's run here. They've already wasted 4 years. It's been super entertaining. He maxed it out. 2 finals, 3 Eastern Conference finals. God bless Jimmy and Spo. But what more do we want from those guys? And Riley kind of threw it on him. Oh, he's a big boy. He's had to carry the franchise. He may have to carry it again. Well, Riley, can't you see that he can't do it? He can't carry the franchise. He can't stay healthy throughout the regular season, and he couldn't stay healthy in the postseason. And why? Because he's all alone. His body's worn down. He's played a ton of games. He's practiced a ton of minutes, especially with Tibbs. So those legs, that body has taken a beating. And if anything has been proven, Jimmy's really not the scoring machine that you need. You need a guy that can score threes, not a bunch of twos. And Jimmy couldn't even be himself down the stretch because he was so injured. So what is it? Are you really dedicated to winning? Because I don't give a shit about the punitive damages. If you have a shot at a title, don't tell me about the punitive damages. And then here's the other kicker of all of this. Okay? And I get, by the way, two more things before the kicker. One thing he also said there is, I feel better about it next year. You know why? because Lowry will be off the books. Oladipo will be off the books. So that's a lot. That's like $40-something million off the books. And then you've also maybe, can you get Duncan off the books? That's another, what is it, $15-17 million? That's a lot of money. So I get it that they're going to open up space next year. But here's the kicker to all of this. And part of the problem that's gone on since the big three, except for Spo, who makes up for all of your mistakes. And that's the problem. Isn't it a mistake that this team has $176 million in salaries, and this is who they are? And they're in the finals because of Spo. No other coach gets this group to the finals. In fact, I would argue most coaches don't even end up making the playoffs. How do you like them apples? You're really not that good. There are several teams that have better talent than you. So are we hoping to, again, be mediocre in the regular season, and then all of a sudden in the playoffs, everything falls in place? That's a lot to ask. And then you're asking for somebody to overachieve because you overpaid for Lowry, and you overpaid for Oladipo, and you overpaid for Duncan Robinson. And you kept Udonis Haslem on the roster, which was taking away a roster spot. And you weren't willing to sign a power forward because you had to commit to Caleb. So you went into the season with no size. And you had to add size later on. And I get it, because if they screw up, the Love and Doliak moves. Is it Doliak? No, it's not Doliak. What's the name of the kid at not Doliak?
Zeller.
Tall white dude. I lumped them all the same. What is it?
Zeller,
Cody Zeller. So those moves apparently couldn't be made. Like he talked about it, like Shane Battier and all that, if they had these kind of rules. I get it. But if you can make them now to put yourself over the top, then do it. I don't want to hear about what you're worried about, the punitive damages. You know what's punitive? Whiteside's contract. You know what's punitive? Johnson & Johnson. You know what's punitive? Giving Dion Waiters a 4-year contract when you knew he needed ankle surgery. You know what's punitive? Giving Oladipo a multi-year contract after multi-years of not staying healthy. Oh, he stayed healthy for a small stretch. Let's give him a 2-year deal. You know what's also punitive? Danny Granger. You know what's also punitive? Bob. You know what's also punitive? Shabazz Napier. Shall I continue? So bad decisions are punitive also. The only thing is you're super lucky that Eric Spoelstra can get scrubs and go 500 and almost make the playoffs. You're super lucky that Eric Spoelstra can get one star who's not really your lead star. He should be like a number 2 or 3 in Jimmy Butler. And with that one star, you go to 3 Eastern Conference trips and 2 finals. What's punitive is the fact that you haven't made good decisions, and that's why you haven't won a title. It's not Spo's fault. It's not Jimmy's fault. It's the front office that continues to make bad decisions and puts themselves in positions that limit themselves, like last year. We have to sign Caleb and can't lose him, but now we have to lose P.J. Tucker because the rules don't allow us to sign both. That's punitive. Making the wrong decisions on a consistent basis since the big three. And that's what the front office has done. A lot of bad decisions. Again, Riley's going nowhere. I don't want him to go anywhere. I love Riley. I'll back up Riley. But I'm going to tell you if they're screwing up. I'm going to tell you if they haven't done it right. So it's really easy to tell me how punitive a move could be when you have been hurting yourself on a consistent basis. And that's a problem. So you can sell all you want. You can tell me that Tyler's great. You can tell me about how punitive it is, but there's nothing more punitive than making bad decisions. And the reason why you're in a position you're in right now, it's because you signed Kyle Lowry, you signed Victor Oladipo, and you re-sign Duncan Robinson. You drank your own Kool-Aid on some of your players again, and you re-sign people you don't need to re-sign because you can replace them. They're all replaceable. Whiteside, Johnson & Johnson, Duncan, Dion Waiters, they're all replaceable. So it's kind of a catch-22. You can sell me how bad it might be punitive. You can tell me that you're committed to winning, but I can also tell you you've made a lot of bad decisions and you've put yourself in a position, in a disadvantage because of your punitive decisions. So don't think about what the NBA could do to you and to set you back. Think about what you're constantly doing to yourself to set yourself back. You're this close to a title, and because of your bad decisions, you cannot give your coach the other star he needs to have a real chance at a title. So please don't blame the NBA and blame the rules and all that stuff, because in the end, there's nobody to blame but the Heat themselves. Okay? Except for Spo and Butler. I'm not blaming them. I'm going to blame the front office. Although, who knows? Spo might have agreed to some of these moves. I'm not sure. That's the part we'll never know, because you'll never get it from those guys. Okay? And again, just because I'm critical doesn't mean I'm super supportive. I am super supportive of the Heat organization, but I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you either. Okay? Love those guys, but they've been screwing up lately. So how about making the better decisions right now? That's what you need to do. Make better decisions. And then maybe you got a shot. But $176 million for that team? Yeah. Not enough stars in it. So I think Riley is playing it the only way he can. It's not finally smart, because he didn't really go after Beal. Big O, if the Dame situation doesn't fall through, do you think that he should try to get more size? The question is, they can't sign anybody. They have no money. They can't do it. So it has to be via trade. Who's available? What are we talking about? I don't know. I can't see them bringing back the same team. Even if they don't get Dame, they could still bring in one or two players to help them contribute, even if they're not superstars like a Brook Lopez or a Kuzma. Brook is a free agent, right? So you're not getting Brook either. Shivad says, I can reach out to you on IG about VPN. You can walk me through. Yeah, but it's really easy, a VPN, okay? And the company that I would tell you to go get. Let me see here. So I can give you the here, hold on. Better yet, let me do it this way. That way, because you could try with a VPN, and I want you to get this. It's called IP Vanish. Okay. And where are we at here? Here we go. Show it to you here. See, this is it right here. You'll see a this little green, and take out the cutter's edge billboard. To the right, you'll see the logo, IP Vanish. Okay. And you see up top, ipvanish.com. All right. Download that. Pay for the service, obviously. Okay. Then turn off your phone. Turn it back on. Turn on the IP. Turn it on. That way you're covered. And then go in and try and buy crypto and see how that works for you. Okay. All right, that might be able to be the way you do it, but do not turn off the IP when you're online trying to buy crypto. And by the way, you should have it on the entire time. Less chances of getting hacked on your phone and all that, because what the IP does, it vanishes your IP address. That's what it does. So hackers can't find the IP address, so they can't hack it. You understand? So that's the beauty of having your IP disappear. Okay? So try that. It might work because it works for a lot of people in countries or states that don't allow crypto, but they use an IP to kind of disappear, their address, and they're able to purchase. So that's the same thing that I would be able to tell you on the IG. And you know what you can also do? Go to YouTube and go to IP Vanish video, and they'll show you too, and it'll walk you through it, my man. So do that also. Okay. There you go. Little crypto tips for those of you that are in a tough situation and you can't purchase at the moment if you want to. Remember, do your homework. I am not a financial advisor. I am just a guy that loves crypto. So I'm just a schmuck. I don't know anything. In other words, do your own homework. By the way, Morrissey is coming. Yeah, baby. And we're getting multiple dates here in Florida, which is awesome. 40 Years of Morrissey is the tour. And they'll be in Orlando on October 7th, in Hollywood, which I'm sure it's at the Hard Rock, on the 8th, and in St. Petersburg on the 10th. For our friends in Atlanta, they'll be there October 12th, Nashville October 15th, Washington, D.C. October 18th. New York will be the 21st, the 22nd, the 24th, and the 25th. I would love to be up there just to see all 4 shows. It'd be awesome. I'd go stay somewhere and go to all 4. I would go to all 4 shows. Mexico City. My buddies out there in Mexico City. You can see them. You can see Morrissey September 10th. In Peru, in Lima, on September 14th. Buenos Aires, Argentina, September 23rd. Sao Paulo, Brazil, September 27th. So those are some of the dates for Morrissey's tour. You can check out some of the other dates and maybe, just maybe, close by. I got the money, it's close by, but I don't have it on me. You don't have the money on? No. But it's close by. Bitcoin has exploded. Hasn't it exploded already? Was it 25.5? It is now over 30,500 now. So we were like looking to get over 30. It went to 30,500 now. Okay? 30,529 is what's happening right now. Okay? This is freaking amazing, dude. The run that Bitcoin is on is crazy. Awesome. Man, that is awesome. Loving it. That's all I can tell you. Loving it. By the way, hey, Sean, did I not say yesterday that we're on the brink of getting into the 30s? Okay. I don't know. It's only a matter of time. FUD or no FUD. And those of you that got in early, you're enjoying some beautiful, beautiful profits right now. Don't cash in yet. So at least that's my suggestion. You do your own homework. Big O, does the NBA allow restructuring of contracts like the NFL for salary cap issues? No. They extend it. You cannot because then you would be able to lower things, and they don't want that. So no, in baseball and in basketball, they don't allow you to do those things at all. And that's why he said addition by subtraction. Exactly, because, by the way, good point. I'm glad you brought that up, Drago. When he talked about addition by subtraction, that's the only way he's going to be able to make a trade for a big time player, is that he has to give up salaries. And maybe that trade that Sham said, maybe was true, that they were offering Duncan, but they did not want to take back that salary because it has several years left. They were taking CP3s because it's an expiring salary. You understand? You could take Lowry's because it's going to expire. But Duncan has 3 more years on his contract. That's not expiring. So he is right, which again tells me, how committed are you? I don't care how punitive it is. What's more punitive is going through 4 years and not getting Jimmy that second star. And you know what? I can hammer the shit out of that point every day. Do you know why? The second they traded for Jimmy Butler, I said that this trade will not pay off if you don't bring another star. And brother, that has been the ultimate statement right there. Because if you want to win a championship, we know what you and I know what it takes. It takes at least 2 stars. And if you don't have 2 stars to do it with one, like with Olajuwon and Giannis, yeah, it happens. But it's so rare. You know what I'm saying? It's so rare that everything falls your way and you go all the way through and make it. And the 1 star, brother, Jimmy's not close to Giannis or Olajuwon. Like I told you, Jimmy might be a number 3 star on a team. Giannis and Olajuwon are number 1s. You're talking about freaks of all freaks, bro. You know? So it's a whole different ballgame. So that's why, to me, I'm glad you brought that up, Drago. You know, the addition by subtraction stuff is one that's an owner-driven thing. Oh, no, well, you got to get rid of salary if we're going to take on salary. I don't want to pay more luxury tax. Do you want to win or not? Figure it out after. After you win, who cares? Be the Rams, dude. Do you think I give a shit if I'm a Dolphins fan and they win and then they've got to tear down the team because they've got all kinds of bad salaries now at this point? You got me the Super Bowl. I'm good. I'll wait for the next one. I've been waiting for this one for over 40 years, 50 years. So I'm good. Yeah. No. Go ahead. Tear it down. If I'm a Rams fan, I'm happy with that 1 title. Tear it down. I'll wait for you to rebuild again. I'm good. Thank you. You got me that title. You're the Heat. You've already won 3. Go all in. Win that title. I just hope Dame Lillard wants to come here. I hope so. I hope he says, hey, Dame time, Miami. That's what would be awesome. Let's see what we got here. Oh, ever see Kiss with their makeup on? I've seen them several times with the makeup on and a couple of times with their makeup off. So, yeah. I've seen Kiss a whole bunch of times, dude. Love Kiss. Love Kiss. Old injury-plagued team, and the Heat keep trying to run it back. Yeah, you are right, Oh. It's time to make moves for some talent that can stay on the court. Big O, please tell Riley they're old, injured, and sucked the last year. Don't sign them. Well, they're already the bad contracts are already there. The guys you may sign are young, so that's not the point. It's about getting rid of those bad contracts. Oh, you need to give Pat some credit, man. I know you do, but right now it doesn't sound like it. Brother, you hear what you want to hear. Okay? I'm not giving you credit for not doing it right. You're not getting the other star. And as I've said, I'm never firing Pat Riley. I'm never parting ways with Pat Riley. Riley can leave whenever the hell he wants. I'm not here to fire Riley at all. Like I said, Riley is not at his best, and you've made it to the finals twice and the Eastern Conference Finals 3 out of 4 years, and he's not at his best. That's why I laugh at the people that say, oh, if Riley can't get the star, you got to fire him. The game's passed him by. Really, asswipe? Who are you going to replace that at least can do what he's done the last 4 years? Who's out there? Name one person that's out there that could have done the same thing that Riley did the last 4 years. Forget about building a championship. Okay, because Riley's already done that too. But tell me just what he's done the last 4 years. Nobody. The worst years of Riley without a championship, and you're in the Eastern Conference Finals 3 years and NBA Finals twice. So I give him a ton of credit for all of that. But in the end, his job is to find another star. And he's failed miserably, dude. Okay? Those are the facts. Love Riley. but it's not going to stop me from being critical. Don't think critical is off the bandwagon or anything like that. No, dude. It's being honest. You need to get that other star, and don't sell me fucking Bam and Tyler. Please don't sell me that shit. Love those guys as role players. They're not stars. Don't sell me that bullshit. I'm not buying it. Not now, not ever. Not one of those guys has proven to be a star. They're fantastic role players. That's what they are. This team needs a star, an anchor that you can put the game on the line on their shoulders on a consistent basis. Something neither one of those young guys has ever even come close to proving that they can do. So I love Riley. I'll back him up 1,000%. I'll never. That guy has to become a double murderer for me to want him fired. Put it that way. Okay. He has to literally become a criminal for me to want him fired. So I never want Riley fired, ever. But if he didn't get the job done, I have to say it, bro. I love Mike McDaniel. I ripped him 10 new a-holes for not running the ball when the running game was working. Doesn't mean I want Mike McDaniel fired. Doesn't mean that I don't like him. Doesn't mean I don't think he's fantastic. I just think there were a couple times this past season, where Mike McDaniel had his head up his culo. So I'm not supposed to say that? I love the Panthers. I think Vinny Viola and Doug Sifu are freaking awesome owners. They inherited Dale Talon. I got to a point where I said, hey, bro, I don't give a shit what Dale Talon's history is. You got to fire his ass. Sometimes you just got to call it like you see it. Doesn't mean you're against the franchise or the person running the franchise or the coach or whatever it is, but you just got to call it like you see it. I love anybody defend Tua more than me in the media. Is there anybody? Okay. So who's the one that broke down his injuries and why they happen, and whose fault did he blame it on? Does it mean that I love Tua? I love Tua. Does it mean that I don't believe in him? No, I believe in him. I think he's a freaking stud. I think he's a future Hall of Famer. I think he's a left-handed Montana. I've said it over and over and over again. This kid's a stud. But I also will tell you, this kid's got to stop playing freaking hero ball and holding on to the ball, because that's the reason why he's getting these extra big-time injuries. Doesn't mean I don't love Tua. Doesn't mean I don't love Riley. Doesn't mean I don't love Mike McDaniel. But I'm not here to kiss everybody's ass and say everything they do is perfect, because nobody's perfect. And when you sign Whiteside to a $100 million contract, that kind of proves that you're far from perfect. Okay? And I was one of those that didn't want Whiteside signed. Okay? So you guys got to, some of you have to learn, stop being so emotional. Like somebody, is insulting your kids or something. You know what I mean? Relax. We have to call things like we see it. And Riley has not done a championship job lately. He's fallen short. The reason that Spo has not won a title is Riley's fault. Riley, Chet, you name it. Everybody involved, Simon, you name it. Everybody involved in the personnel department, along probably with Spo, because he's got to have some influence in this. Well, the personnel part has screwed the head coach. And if Spo had a lot of influence in some of those personnel decisions, well, you know what, Spo? Yeah. So I don't know what it is. But this is not the show where we're just going to kiss somebody's ass just because we like them. I'm not going to do that. Big O, you make so much sense. NBA, you need 2 stars. You have to have One, he has to stay healthy the whole year. When has that happened lately? They should have known that from the beginning. Yep. Big O, do you think the Miami Heat will have to use a third team to make the trade so they can find a sucker to take on Duncan? I'm not sure. Maybe. I'm not sure, my man. I'm not smart enough to know about all that stuff, but you might be right. First of all, we got to get to the point where Dame wants out. And I guess tomorrow we finally find out what direction. If the Blazers draft a young guy, then they're in a rebuild, and then finally he can say, "Okay, you guys aren't getting a veteran. Let's go. Let's move on. I'm out of here." So let's hope that tomorrow they draft, and we'll find out early, and they don't trade the pick, and hopefully Lillard wants out. We need first Lillard to take the first step, because whatever the Heat wants to do doesn't mean anything until he says, I want out. So we have to cross our fingers and hope that he wants out. Okay? Big O, I think Mickey Harrison has a lot to do with some of these moves. I believe he's getting in the way too much of the, well, maybe not. I'm not sure. But, hard to make an excuse about how punitive certain moves are when, you're telling me, well, no, we can't make a move if we're not also getting rid of salary in the process. And so you're not willing to take on more salary, like what the Suns just did, or the Warriors and all that. And, it's so punitive. Well, bro, but are you trying to win a title or not? You could get rid of everybody after. All credit to Spo with a not at his best, Pat Riley. Spo is the man. Spo is the man, the myth, the legend. He is. Big O, I think Mickey Harrison has a lot to... Oh, I read that one. Wonder how many of those stars have brought the Bucks, the 76ers, and Celtics so much success this season. Well, the Bucks have their title. They got their title with their one star. Okay? The Celtics are, and the 76ers, it's not a matter of stars. They don't, they have one guy in Embiid, but Harden is not a guy that I would ever count on, Rosendo. So I never looked at the Sixers like a championship team. I'm not sure about you, whatever you want to think, but I never looked at the Sixers like they were going to win the title. And then the Celtics, I've always questioned their two guys. I always question their cojones, their guts, I do. I question those guys. So it's part of, you can put up points, but, can you also be clutch? Because there's a lot of guys, Paul George. There's a lot of guys that put up points, and then when you need them most, complete choke job. Big O, I don't know if it means anything, but Lillard has a short video out saying he wants to stay. I think saw it about 20 minutes ago. Didn't know if you saw it. No, I didn't. Can you see, Sean, can you look that up and tell me if that video is recent or not, or is it old for Lillard? I got to tell you all out there, I forgot which one of you all out there gave me that concoction for the honey and the lime. It has been a savior. Really. It really helps out every single day. I mean, I can't say enough. Really. I am so impressed with it. Really makes my day. So those of you that gave it to me, I forgot which names they are out there. But thank you. Thank you. Very, very kind. By the way, Perdomo Cigars, I'd love to give the Marlins a victory cigar. I can't. Yuri Perez was outstanding last night. But if you are a cigar aficionado like I am, you should go check out the retail store at 57th Avenue, right off of the Palmetto. They've got the entire selection pretty much of Perdomo cigars. Okay, so because it is the Perdomo factory, and that's the other thing you're going to run in probably to Nick Perdomo if he's not traveling around the world, because we all know he's a ass kicking world traveler. I think Nick Perdomo must have like 2 million free miles by at this point with all the traveling he does. No, but seriously, he's at the factory a lot. Nick Jr.'s out there too. He's super cool. Arthur, all the great people, man. They're just phenomenal. A great family, family oriented, family owned, family led. I've known Nick for well over 20 years. Just great people. And by the way, if you go by and if you take a peek in his office, you'll see his drum set and all that, because he rocks out with some friends of his. So it's kind of like an office / music studio. It's kind of badass. And then you've got the humidor. Then you've got like this 30-foot leather couch. So if you want to relax and smoke a cigar there, you can do it. Big TV to watch television. They're usually watching sports or whatever is on. And then they got a pool table there. So if you want to go with some fellas and shoot a little pool, you can do that. It's like a killer little cigar lounge. Okay. Actually, it's a killer big cigar lounge because it's a damn warehouse. I don't know. Ask them. Maybe they'll give you a little tour. You can check out. Have you ever seen 1 million cigars in one place? Well, you may have that opportunity. If you travel and you come down to South Florida for a Heat, a Dolphins, a Marlins, a Panthers, a Canes, an Inter-Miami game, because I know a lot of you are going to come for Messi, and you're a cigar aficionado. And ladies, if your guy isn't listening and he's a cigar aficionado, you might want to surprise him with something like that. Okay. And then give him a little 10th anniversary right there, that Maduro 93 rating from Cigar Journal. So check it out, man. And check out the full line of Perdomo cigars wherever you're at in the world. Go to your nearest cigar shop and ask for it by name. PerdomoCigars.com, baby. Go to the website. Check it out. Big O, don't know what it means. Wait a minute. Riley needs to take a little contract negotiations. Needs to take a little contract negotiations from Greer, short-term deals, and if it doesn't pan out, you don't have to sit there for multiple years and crap on your books. Dan, football is different than basketball, bro. It's just different. Role players and old veterans will sign a 1 or 2 year deal. Young players or stars, they want long multi-year deals and guaranteed money. So we're comparing apples and oranges, my friend. We just can't go in that direction, unfortunately. Let's see. Years ago, from my DJ days, what's up with that, Jay? By the way, Bonamassa, I saw Bonamassa. Joe Bonamassa is coming to the Hard Rock in December, I think. Actually, where's Omar? Omar's no longer on. Omar has been replaced by Joe Shad. Omar needed some work, bro, and he got a little work with QAM, so he's over there. They're going to put him on the pregame show because he's not traveling with the team. And I don't blame him, dude. He's got to make money, man. So I do nothing but support my guy, Omar Kelly. So I get it. He'll be back in January because QM doesn't have any money, and then he won't have any work there after that. So he'll be back in January. I'm not really worried about that, to be quite honest. But yeah, it sucks. But he'll be back. We'll get him back. And then we'll have everybody all together again. Remember, he left a little bit with the whole Brandon Marshall thing. And working with Brandon Marshall, I kind of knew that he would be back. Well, he's going to QAM, a broke-ass station with a broke-ass corporation that their stock is worth pennies. Okay, so they're going to file bankruptcy either by the end of this year or the beginning of next year. And I would go with the latter. I think the beginning of next year, you'll see them file bankruptcy. And they'll be making, more cuts like always. So, yeah. Brother, they're only afloat right now because of Joe Rose. Okay? That's the only reason the doors are open and they're open for business, or if not, it would be all syndicated if Joe Rose wasn't there. Okay? So whenever the cash cow feels like leaving and he feels like retiring, looks like he's doing a year-to-year thing now, but whenever the cash cow wants to leave that place, oh my God. Okay? They're going to go straight into the shitter. Okay? I mean, they're already in the shitter. It's like maybe they're going down into the sewer because they're already, there's nothing to save that company. That company's dead. So he'll be back at the beginning of next year. Don't worry. We'll get him back. So not worried about those kind of things. QAM is nothing to worry about. What else do we have? Honey and citrus lemon years before your throat surgery. Remember, the ENT specialist recommended it for my throat. There you go, Jay. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I see. From your DJ days. I got you now. Now I picked up. I'm a little slow, so thank you. I picked up on that. Now I got that. Let me give you a little, by the way, I enjoyed music yesterday with Bryan Adams. And again, Jack, I don't know if you're watching or if you have watched all day or any part of the day. Thank you again for doing that, man. That was awesome. Birthdays today. Celebrating birthdays. My daughter loves her. Lana Del Rey. She's 38 years old. Chris Pratt, actor, 44. William, Prince of Wales, is 41 today. Let's see. A lot of YouTube and TikTok stars that I have no idea who the hell they are. So I am not mentioning them. Let's see. Who else? Oh, hey, a lying scum. Jussie Mollett is 40. And I think that's the end of the famous people and one asshole. Let me see. Any more famous people? Jane Russell would have been celebrating a birthday. We lost her in 2011. For you older folks out there. Yeah, and that's it. There really isn't only a few famous people and birthdays and one complete a-hole in Jussie. And today in rock history, we will tell you what happened today in rock history. On the 21st of June in 1975, on this date, Richie Blackmore quit Deep Purple to form his own group, Rainbow. And Rainbow, very interesting, right? Because I've watched Iron Maiden have two different singers and be successful. I've watched Van Halen with two different singers and be successful. Genesis, two different singers and be successful. Rainbow had three different singers. Okay? With Graham Bonnet, Ronnie James Dio, and Do You Remember Me? The Street of Dreams. Damn it, what's his name now? Now I'm blanking. But somebody will remember and remind me. But anyway, so they were successful. That was pretty awesome for Richie Blackmore. Okay? And not a lot of bands can change a singer and a singer and a singer and then still continue to have success and have commercial success and things like that. The only person that I've seen that has been able to do it with more has been Santana. Okay, that's the greatness of Carlos Santana. Think about since the 60s, okay, since the late 60s till now, how many hits he's had with how many different singers. It's like 7 or 8 or something. It's something stupid that he's done it with. I mean, it is ridiculous how that guy writes all kinds of music and he ends up having success with different bands. That is awesome, dude. Absolutely awesome. So Richie Blackmore quitting Deep Purple and starting Rainbow and doing something pretty damn impressive with 3 different singers. In 2000, on this date, 39-year-old Karen McNeil, she claimed she was Axl Rose's wife and that she communicated with him telepathically, was sentenced to a year in jail for stalking the singer. In 55, on this date, Johnny Cash released his first single, Hey Porter, which sold 100,000 copies. In 55, man, that is enormous. In 05, Billy Corgan took out a full-page advertisement in 2 papers announcing that he wanted to reform the Smashing Pumpkins. He wrote, I want my band back and my songs and my dreams. The rest is history. Then later on, he would say, Miss Bass Player, we don't want you here. Anyway, in 88, Pink Floyd performed in Versailles, not the restaurant, France, a concert that was later released as the Delicate Sound of Thunder video. And in 2008, on this date, Disturbed had the #1 album in the country with Indestructible, their 3rd consecutive record at the top of the charts. It was really good to see that the singer of Disturbed, he had like some growth or something, and he was hoping that it wasn't anything, and he got word that it was benign and all that, and it was, one of those moments like, it's like, even though it wasn't a growth or anything, I had never gone to get my colonoscopy, right? And I got to tell you all out there, please do it before, you get to 50. Do it right around there. That's when you're supposed to do it. I'm an idiot and waited till late 56. I'm just a couple of months away from 57. That was stupid on my part. You know what I mean? Thank the Lord. Everything came out golden and fine and all that. And we're good. We're healthy. But that was dumb on my part. Really, really stupid. And really, it's the silliest thing in the world. It's not even the embarrassment you think it is. It's not the discomfort you think it is. It's not the whatever negative thing at least I can tell you, okay, at Baptist Health, all right, where I go, they did it in a first-class fashion. But my point is, don't put any of that kind of stuff off. Okay. And I'm glad for the singer from Disturbed that, you get some kind of growth and your mind starts playing tricks on you. It really sucks, dude. Really sucks. The Heat were linked to Durant, hurt, Leonard, same, Giannis stayed. Who are the stars we missed? Look at the last 3 championship teams. They won by homegrown talent. Just ask the New Jersey Nets. The last 3 championships were won when you added Shaq and you traded for Zoe and you drafted Wade. The other championships you traded for LeBron, Bosh, Ray Allen, Battier. Not sure what you're talking about, bro. They're not homegrown. The only thing was Wade outside of that. And your early teams with Timmy and Zoe, trades, and Marley, trades, and there's nothing homegrown outside of Wade that's produced a title. That's it, So not sure about that, bro. I don't think I would go with that. So it doesn't really matter. Giannis was never going to leave. So that one doesn't really count. And Durant, they were linked to Durant, but I don't even call that a miss. See, the lazy people, I'm going to pick on Riley for not getting a star during these 4 years, but I'm not picking him for Durant. Durant was never coming here. That was just a token interview, dude. You got the interview because you're Pat Riley and you're the Miami Heat. I never thought Durant was ever coming here. They didn't have what it takes to bring him here at that time. They didn't have the money and the trade chips and all that stuff. It just wasn't going to happen. So I don't really pick on him for that, to be quiet. And Kawhi wanted to go back to Los Angeles. You could not compete with home. There's no way. I'll blame him for some things that are realistic. these other ones, if you think it was realistic that you were going to get Durant, then, you lack a sense of reality, to be quite honest. Okay. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? Tyreek Hill. Well, Tyreek Hill is being investigated for an alleged assault and battery, disagreement with a charter company employee, ended up hitting the man. Ian Margol from Channel 10 broke the story. Right now, it doesn't seem like much. Okay. Sean, have you seen anything new from the morning when I got on? Because I have not seen. I can't say that I've looked everywhere, but I want to make sure before if there's any new updates. I don't think there is. Okay. But when I look at what happened and they're investigating it, if he's not pressing charges, which apparently he's not, I don't think this goes anywhere. Okay. So it says that Tyreek is under investigation by Miami-Dade police, and Local 10 has learned that the wide receiver allegedly hit a man working at Haulover Marina. Hill shared an Instagram story over the weekend on Father's Day boat, and according to a tip received by Local 10 around 6 p.m., Hill got into some kind of a disagreement with an employee, one of the chartered companies based at Haulover Marina, that apparently ended with Hill hitting the man. Sources later told Local 10 that Hill's group was fishing for tarpon from the dock at the marina, which is not allowed. Tarpon are protected in Florida. The sources said the charter boat employee informed the group of the rule, which led to an argument and ended with Hill hitting the man in the back of the head. It's unclear if the man was injured, but on Monday, Miami-Dade police were seen at the marina, and on Tuesday, the department confirmed an investigation was underway. Several experts said that if Hill is charged, it will likely be for simple battery and misdemeanor. Those experts denied the reports that the alleged victim in the case isn't pressing charges, and said that even if that were the case, police in Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office could pursue charges independently. Also Tuesday, Hill's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, tweeted out a video. Oh, I don't care about that. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. If he presses charges, it could be an issue. If he doesn't press charges, which some say he wasn't, then I don't know. We got to know more. We got to know context. We got to know, how did it happen? Did the guy instigate anything? Was it all Tyreek being an idiot? I don't know. I have no idea. But if they did get into an argument about something that's illegal, and, like when something's illegal and they tell you not to do it and to turn in what you have, you got to just turn it in. So if they tell you you can't, fish for tarpon, well, then don't argue. You can't fish for tarpon. So, some people have a real problem understanding what the laws and the rules and orders are. And sometimes you're not in charge of certain things and others are, and you need to cooperate. Anyway, we thank Matt Verderame for joining us on the program. Normally on Wednesdays, by the way, it'll be Joe Shad instead of Omar Kelly, but Joe was yesterday. So that's why. We are out of here. We thank Sean Stanley, the man that masters this program every single day. We will see you tomorrow from Hialeah Park, 3 to 6 p.m. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the